Pokémon. Starting with Greninja. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 26, Emperor Yen is my family. You should say it or not. Zumu is indeed a ruthless person. In front of so many strong men, Zumu is not afraid at all. Of course, even if he is afraid, he can't show it. Shirona is a kind-hearted girl, so facing this siege, her kindness broke out. Girls with pure hearts are rare and should be cherished, so Zumu stood up without hesitation. Stop it, everyone, that's enough. A group of people beat an elf. Don't you care about your face? As soon as Zumu said this, the big guys were displeased. Seeing this, hairy boy suddenly rushed out, ran to the front of Yendi and spoke wildly without saying a word. A strong man was furious. Boy, leave quickly. This is not something you can participate in. The strong man relied on the master-level water turtle beside him and scolded Zumu. His words also represent the meaning of the strong men present. Everyone besieged for a long time, and finally saw Yendi injured and in decline. But a hairy boy came out halfway. Who can stand this? If Emperor Yen took the opportunity to run away, who would be to blame? Oh, why can't I participate? Tell me. Zumu was a little unsure, facing such a group of strong men. If a conflict broke out, it would be a big deal. But when someone confronted him, Zumu instantly got angry. What era is this? How dare all the monsters and ghosts talk nonsense to me? Young people should not be too angry. If they are not angry, can they be called young people? Zumu is a time traveler after all, and he is equipped with a system. He is definitely the protagonist. With this capital, I haven't even pretended to die, so why are there always blind people who take the initiative to jump out and be the villain for me? Do you know who you are talking to now? Seeing Zumu dare to talk back, another strong man said indignantly, Who, the King of Heaven? Zumu still sneered, and his disdain was all on his face. I didn't want to stand out, so I just hid and enjoyed my life. How wonderful. But it happened that people always think they are good enough. It's hot and my temper is explosive. I don't smile. Brother, don't make trouble. This is the Honorable Dongfeng, but he is a top master in the early stage. You should know what's good for you and get out of here. When the man saw Zumu didn't move, he opened his mouth and yelled angrily. The Honorable Dongfeng, who spoke at the beginning, raised his head proudly when the man introduced himself. Zumu smiled. Good guy, you are in the early stage of the master. What are you so arrogant about? You can't move this Yen Emperor, Zumu said coldly with a stern face, facing many masters alone. At the beginning, Zumu stood up for Shirona and for the lion in his heart. Elves can be captured, but they must be captured in a legitimate way. What's the point of besieging like this? What? Should the beast be besieged? Did the beast dig your ancestral grave or beat your child? If you are not strong enough, work hard to improve your strength. If you can't beat it in a single fight, get a group of people, and have to pretend to be a calf and do nothing. Zumu couldn't stand it. Coming to this world, strength is respected. Even if Zumu is just a little amateur, as long as he is strong, he is not afraid of any power. Maybe I fell into the trap dug by the system without knowing it. Strength is respected. Now even I agree with this sentence, right? With a sigh, Zumu raised his head and looked at everyone. The Dongfeng master thought that his dignity was provoked, twitched his mouth, and said angrily, Boy, you can't move just because you say you can't move. Is Yendi yours? Zumu heard this and grinned. Sorry, this Yendi is mine. Just now my elf was disobedient, and I had a fight with him. Now he is angry with me and wants to run away from home. It's just right that you are all here. It's time to settle the account of bullying my elf just now. As he said, Zumu stretched out his hand and pointed at Dongfeng Master. Come on, as the master, I will fight you, the Lord of the East Wind, on behalf of my Pokémon. I, Zumu, a new trainer from Fengcheng, challenge you. Of course, if you are shameless, you can also fight in a group, Zumu said, and the group of strong men burst into laughter, especially the guy who introduced the Lord of the East Wind, who laughed the most. Boy, You really don't have enough brains. Are you a new trainer who challenges the Lord of the East Wind? This man said like a dog licker. Behind him, another dog licker quickly agreed. That's right. Are you also qualified to challenge the Lord of the East Wind? Boy, go home quickly. Maybe your family is still worried about you. Zumu was stunned by the retort. Where did these two dogs licker come from? You two? Are your surname Dongfeng? Or have you eaten the rice of Dongfeng's family? You just licked it. How much does Dongfeng give you a month? With your character, you don't deserve to eat 4 dishes in this life. I don't deserve it. So what do you deserve? What a thing. You just yell. Zumu opened his mouth and fought back mercilessly, and pointed his hand at Dongfeng again. I challenge you. Do you want to fight quickly? Don't waste time. If you don't dare, I'll pick the next one. Don't waste time. Zumu was very arrogant. He stood proudly, with his back to Yendi, looking at Dongfeng with a playful look. Boy, you are very interesting. Dongfeng was confronted by Zumu for a long time, and his angry little universe finally exploded at this moment. At first, he was worried that Zumu was a child and it was difficult to start, worried that he would be criticized. He was a dignified venerable, fighting against a rookie trainer. If this got out, wouldn't he be laughed at? But since Zumu was so ignorant and provoked him again and again, there was nothing he could do. Come on, I won't bully you, I'll just use. Zumu interrupted the pretense of the Dongfeng master. I told you to use 6, stop talking nonsense, come on. As he said that, Zumu called Greninja. Get ready for battle. Cool, got it. Seeing that Zumu was ready to lose face, the Dongfeng master looked at Greninja with disdain. Pretending to be high class, he waved his hand and released a Raikou. This is the weakest Pokémon I brought, a little guy in the late Heavenly King stage. If you can defeat him, I'll give you a chance. Apologize to me and I'll forgive you, the Dongfeng master said in a bitchy way, pretending to be reluctant. It seemed that fighting Zumu was so embarrassing. Okay, just because of what you said, I won't forgive you even if you apologize later. Zumu really couldn't stand it anymore. What kind of quality are the strong people in this world? I met a brain-dead uncle before, and there were 2 bootlickers and this pretentious guy. It really made me speechless. Chapter 27 I'll teach you how to be a good person. Greninja, Flying Water Shuriken. Since the battle has begun, Zumu was not polite and gave the order directly. Although Raikou seems to be stronger than Greninja, this is just on the surface. In front of the tactical master Zumu, he has 10,000 ways to defeat this Raikou without injury. Well, 10,000 ways is a bit of bragging. Greninja used the interference of Flying Water Shuriken as a cover and quickly approached Raikou. Before everyone could react, a sneak attack hit Raikou's back. Raikou, Iron Tail. Dongfeng didn't expect that Zumu would have the strength of a king, and he was stunned at the time. He ordered Raikou to counterattack after realizing it, but he didn't know that his behavior was all within Zumu's expectations. In short, I predicted your prediction. Use supernatural power to control him, and then don't be polite, just use the evil wave. Greninja reacted quickly, and before Raikou's Iron Tail arrived, he immediately used supernatural power to control Raikou in place. Then a wave of evil hit him head-on. Not enough. Give him another water wave, and a swallow return. Greninja's attack, without a pause. As long as Zumu gave the order, he would act immediately and obey the order. In a flash, another set of combos was played, and Raikou was completely stunned. The coverage of the water wave made him lose his vision when he wanted to fight back, and then a swallow return hit the vitals again, adding injury to injury. Raikou died directly. Venerable Dongfeng, is that it? Seeing that Raikou was killed instantly, Zumu smiled and looked at Venerable Dongfeng in the distance with a playful expression. Venerable Dongfeng did not expect that his Raikou would be defeated by the opponent without injury. Obviously, in terms of strength, he still has the advantage. Damn, kid. You pissed me off. I'm serious, you wait to die, and I won't forgive you even if you apologize now. After saying the harsh words, he took back Raikou and released his other Pokémon. Pidgeot, come on. Pidgeot at the peak of the king. Seeing the momentum of Pidgeot's appearance, Zumu's eyes condensed. It's not easy to fight, but it's not impossible to fight. Greninja, leap. Pidgeot, swallow return, follow-up, and then air cut. Dongfengzun is at least a master-level strongman. The previous defeat of Reiko was caused by his underestimation of Zumyu. Now that he is serious, this guy can be considered to be quite capable. Greninja watched Pidgeot fly behind him like lightning, without any panic, because Zumyu's next command has not arrived yet. How naive. Do you think I use Leap to jump up and hit you? Zumyu sneered. It is difficult for Pokémon to dodge attacks in the air, and Greninja can't fly, so if you want to attack Pidgeot, you can only jump high. This is a common mistake made by many new trainers. Let the Pokémon jump up to attack the flying Pokémon, but ignore the problem of dodging, and the opponent often seizes this point to counterattack. Obviously, this Dongfengzun thought that Greninja's leap was as simple as jumping up and attacking at close range. He thought he had found Zumyu's weakness, and was quite disdainful and secretly happy. In fact, Zumyu had already arranged everything for him. Greninja, let's use Yanfan as well, and then control Pidgeot. In the air, the disadvantaged Greninja suddenly turned back and actually came to the sky above Pidgeot. Then, with the help of gravity, it landed behind Pidgeot, grab Pidgeot's head with one hand and pull Pidgeot's feathers with the other hand. Greninja unlocked a new achievement, controlling Pidgeot, throw him down and use Fierce Storm. Dongfengzun was panicked. He didn't expect Zumyu to predict his prediction. In this wave of tactical confrontation, he was on the first level and Zumyu was in the atmosphere. Fierce Storm requires the elves to flap their wings continuously to perform, and Pidgeot also took this opportunity to throw Greninja down. It's come to this point, do I still need to teach you how to do it? Zumyu didn't care about Pidgeot's struggle, and gave the order to let Greninja attack. Cool, no need, I understand. Responding to Zumyu, Greninja was no longer a human being. Firmly embedded in the back of Pidgeot, Greninja began to attack frantically. Flying Water Shuriken, continuous Flying Water Shuriken. No matter how Pidgeot displayed his flying skills, Greninja relied on his strong flexibility to stick firmly to Pidgeot's back and attack with his head down. In less than 3 minutes, Pidgeot was dead. He fell headfirst from the air. Greninja landed on the ground and proudly shook the bright red scarf around his neck. This scarf is also his tongue. Little tricks that are not worthy of being on the stage. The East Wind Master was obviously panicking in his heart, but he did not give in. After scolding Zumyu, he took back Pidgeot and sent the next Pokémon who was going to give himself a head. Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur in the early stage of the Master. Bulbasaur after appearing, Bulbasaur had no idea of his dangerous situation. With a shout, he looked at the little thing in front of him. Greninja. Bulbasaur, clear up. The cautious East Wind Master chose to use clear up first. The already sunny weather became even hotter, and the sun in the sky seemed to become brighter under the background of this trick. Self-motivation, then Shadow Clone. Zumyu has not yet revealed his ninjutsu and bond transformation, but just let Greninja fight with his own strength. The main reason is that this East Wind Messenger still has 3 Pokémons left, and there are 4 including Bulbasaur. If Zumyu reveals his trump card now, then the East Wind Master will be prepared, and it will be even more difficult to fight. Energy Ball, Water Wave. The moment Bulbasaur's clear up ended, Greninja also completed self-motivation. Zumyu and East Wind Master ordered the attack almost at the same time. Bang! A huge explosion sounded. The energy ball of grass power collided with the water wave of water power. Although Greninja used self-motivation to improve its double attack, but now the field is sunny, the power of water skills will be weakened. As expected, after the 2 skills collided, the energy ball dispersed the water wave and rushed straight to Greninja, with its remaining power undiminished. Get out of the way, supernatural power. Zumyu saw that Greninja's skills were broken, and hurriedly gave the order. With a sideways move, Greninja dodged the energy ball, and then used supernatural power to directly deal tons of damage. The psychic type restrains the poison type, and this attack of Greninja dealt a heavy blow to Bulbasaur. Not enough. Use the Water Shuriken to contain him continuously, get close to him and then use a zero-distance freezing ray. Zumyu said, looking at the Dongfeng Venerable opposite with disdain. Anyone can be a Venerable, forget it. If you ask me, Zumyu, to be magnanimous, I will treat it as charity. and I will personally teach you how to be a man today. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28 Charmander Evolves. Freeze Beam. Perfect hit. Although Bulbasaur is very powerful, his size limits him to being a live target. Therefore, Zumu won this battle easily. After the freeze beam hit, Greninja added a blizzard and sent Bulbasaur home directly. 1 vs 3. When Bulbasaur fell, everyone was stunned. This rookie trainer actually defeated 3 Pokémon of Dongfeng Zunzun, and he only used a mid-level King of Tenma Greninja. Battle Genius. The strong man from Western Europe commented on Zumu instantly. It would be a pity if such a battle genius and tactical master did not become a trainer. Dongfeng Zunzun's face turned black. He never expected that he would go out to perform a mission, but now his reputation would be in jeopardy. Being defeated by a rookie trainer 1 vs 3, this would probably become a laughingstock in the Zunzun world and be laughed at for the rest of his life. Bulbasaur, come back. Taking back the Pokémon, Dongfeng Zunzun didn't want to drag it on. Directly increase the strength. The main force appears. Bag Dragon. As soon as the Bag Dragon, which had the strength of a late master, appeared, the powerful people watching exclaimed, "The trump card spirit of the Dongfeng master, Bag Dragon." It was actually forced out by this kid. Bag Dragon, Mega Evolution. The Dongfeng master was really rude. After summoning his trump card, he did not forget to use Mega Evolution, which made Bag Dragon's strength directly reach the level of the peak of the master. Boy, this kind of magical evolution, you may never see it with your own eyes in your life. Seeing Zumu's eyes on Bag Dragon, he was a little dazed, and the Dongfeng master thought he was scared by the Mega Evolution of Bag Dragon. Finally, he had an excuse to show off, and he pretended to be a big shot as soon as he opened his mouth. Zumu was too lazy to fight back. Mega Evolution. I have seen more than your ancestors. Koga Ninja. I can't bear it anymore. Bond Transformation. Without hesitation, Zumu directly slapped the Dongfeng master in the face with reality. You said I haven't seen Mega Evolution. Ha ha ha, I'll show you how to evolve without evolution stones. Have you seen this? Beep, beep. Next time you shout, think before you shout. My hands hurt after being slapped in the face like this. Ignoring the confused looks of a bunch of big guys, Zumu directly synchronized his mind with Greninja and started to attack. Isn't it just a Mega Bag Dragon? Isn't it the peak of the master? Well done. Shadow Clone Technique. Water Spiral Shuriken. Continuous Fire. Here it comes. Greninja used Umaki's signature combo. He made a dozen shadow clones with hand seals, and then each of them had 2 super large water spiral shurikens. Throw them directly at Bag Dragon. Don't be afraid, they are all fake, only 2 are real. Bag Dragon uses Makiri, and then Bullet Punch. The East Wind Relevant didn't understand the difference between the Shadow Clone technique and the Shadow Clone, and thought that these water spiral shurikens were all shadows. He calmed Bag Dragon's mentality while arranging a counterattack. However, reality once again slapped his face. The strong men behind him had already chosen to close their eyes speechlessly. The slap in the face came too fast like a tornado. With a scream, the Saurus was stunned by the spiral water shuriken in the sky. The bullet fist was ready to go, but it was interrupted by force. Don't worry, let him taste the Rasengan again. Water Wave. Seeing that Greninja had the upper hand, Zumu naturally beat the fallen dog. A water wave condensed in the palm of his hand, and Greninja came behind the Saurus in a flash. Boom. Close range injury. The Rasengan, Water Wave, brought tons of damage to the Saurus. All the big guys were dumbfounded. What kind of skill is this? Your sudden transformation is fine, but what's the matter with your skill? Also, when others mega evolve, they only improve their strength by a small stage, but how can you, Greninja, directly improve it by several stages? Are you still human? The big guys with question marks on their faces looked at the Dongfeng with heartache. 1 against 4. Where is your dignity as a strong man? Dongfeng eye was also uncomfortable, and he felt bitter. Who knew this kid was so strong? If he had known that this Greninja was so perverted, he would never have provoked Zumyu. Now, he was nailed to the pillar of shame by a rookie trainer and slapped in the face. No, is this kid a rookie trainer? With such strength, you say you are a rookie trainer, who are you fooling? Silently taking back the Bakura, Dongfengzun's eyes face was as black as ink. Steel back, releasing the next Pokémon. Dongfengzun's eye was ready to be 1 against 5. Sure enough, within 3 minutes, Steelix was directly hit by Greninja and was about to die. Big explosion. No matter what, I can't let this kid take 6 against me. Dongfengzun's eye gritted his teeth, thinking viciously in his heart, and directly ordered Steelix to use the self-destruct skill. Zumyu admitted that he was careless this time and didn't dodge. The explosion hit Greninja head-on, and Zumyu, who was in telepathic communication with Greninja, also cried out in pain. His physical strength dropped significantly, and his transformation state was automatically lifted. Greninja knelt on one knee, obviously reaching its limit and unable to fight on. Seeing that his plan had succeeded, the Dongfengzun laughed. He replaced his last Pokémon, Infernape. What are you laughing at? You are being challenged by a rookie trainer like me, and you still have the nerve to laugh? You are so old, but you are worse than me, a rookie who has just got his initial Pokémon for less than a month. You are living like a dog? Waste. Pack up your bags and make way for the newbie. A termite like you is in a high position, which is a disaster for this nation. Zumyu was upset when he saw that the Dongfengzun was actually laughing. To deal with this kind of waste who regards face as life, Zumyu opened his mouth and sprayed. Good guy, who is not a Zoan person. Charmander, you go next, okay? Zumyu was a little unsure when he called Charmander. Yo, don't worry. Charmander patted his chest, with a strange smile on his lips. This kind of peak duel, this decisive and critical moment, should let me, the son of destiny, appear. I have been hiding for so long, just for this glorious moment. Today is my chance to become famous in one battle. Come on, I have been hiding for 10 years in the novice village, and I request to fight. Seeing Zumyu send out Charmander, the Dongfeng master, who was originally autistic because of the spray, laughed again. In this kind of master-level battle, you sent out an elf that has not evolved? Is it funny? Boy, admit defeat. I'm afraid my Infernape will be too heavy and your little baby elf will be broken. Zumyu was really speechless when he saw Dongfeng master mocking him again. He only had one sentence in his mind: since you only remember to eat but not to fight, then I will beat you until you remember me. Chapter 29 Mega Evolution. Charizard X. Looking at the blasting beast showing off his muscles, Charmander was disdainful from the bottom of his heart. You are just an early master, why are you pretending? If you have the guts, why don't you fight the frog? You are pretending to be a calf when the frog is tired. Who indulged you with this bad habit? After moving his limbs, Charmander smiled evilly. He slowly took off the stone of invariance on his neck and threw it into Zumyu's hand. He didn't know where he got the Mega Evolution Stone of Charizard X that the system had rewarded. Yo, are you ready? I'm going to start the operation and witness the moment of miracle. As Charmander said, a dazzling white light shone on his body. The light of evolution. This cautious monster who had been hiding in the novice village for several years finally chose to evolve today. Since he followed Zumyu and left the old principal's backyard, he has experienced many battles along the way, and the combat power of the Pseudo-King stage is no longer enough to protect himself. If it were usual, after so many battles, Charmander would feel that his strength should have improved a lot. However, it didn't happen. Because of the limitation of the race value, Charmander was still at the level of a Pseudo-King, and the improvement was not too great. Therefore, Charmander also had the idea of evolving. It just so happened that today, under the attention of many powerful people, in front of the divine beast Yendi, Charmander had the opportunity to appear. If he doesn't pretend to be cool now, when will he? Roar! A dragon roar sounded, and a horn grew out of Charmander's head, and his body became several times bigger than before. Charmander, what's the use of evolution? Such a weak guy. Even if he evolves, he can't withstand the attack of the Inferno Beast. Dongfengzun was an old man who didn't care about his life. Seeing Charmander evolve, he immediately started to pull hatred. It seemed that all the hatred values between heaven and earth would be pulled on him. What's wrong? Are you uncomfortable without being beaten? You have been a mount for a long time, and you are not used to being beaten? Yu looked at Dongfengzun speechlessly. To be honest, it was meaningless to scold him. This old thing is so thick-skinned. He has been slapped in the face so many times, and he still doesn't remember? If you don't believe me, just wait and see. He will be slapped in the face next. Dongfengzun spoke rudely, and Charmeleon was very angry. After his evolution, his temper became much worse, and naturally he became a little irritable. He casually sprayed flames, and Charmeleon used the Blue Lotus Earthfire to the extreme, spraying it directly at Dongfengzun. Infernape stepped forward and blocked the sprayed flames with protection, which allowed Dongfengzun to escape with a small life and not be burned by Charmeleon. You dare to attack me? Dongfengzun was almost attacked, and he was scared and sweating, and he was also very angry. Infernape, teach him a lesson. Smoke charge. Infernape was naturally obedient. Even if his trainer was mentally disabled, he was still his trainer after all. Gathering the fire energy in his body, Infernape was about to attack. Ah, stop! Charmeleon suddenly stretched out a claw, signaling Infernape to wait. Infernape didn't understand the situation, and blankly dissipated the power of Gunsmoke Charge, looking at Charmeleon, not knowing what he was going to do. Wait a minute, I haven't finished pretending yet. Charmeleon raised his head and said proudly, and a dazzling white light shone on his body again. Huge wings, the single horn turned into two horns, thick lower limbs, sharp claws. This is the final evolution of Charmander. Charizard. Roar. Roar again. This time the dragon roar has that flavor. After Charizard evolved, he first admired his new body, and then moved a few times to feel the sudden increase in strength. Not bad, not bad. The early stage of the king. If I work harder, I can catch up with the frog. Nodding with satisfaction, Charizard enjoys his current strength. He is satisfied, but others are dumbfounded, including Yu. He himself did not expect that Charmander could evolve twice in a row. This is too weird. Except for the 1000-year-old Haunter in the original comic, it seems that this situation has never occurred. I have the Keystone, and you have the Megastone. Good fellow, so that's what you're thinking. You're really cautious. Yu finally understood what Charmander meant. From the moment he took down the immutable stone, this guy had no intention of keeping a low profile. The ultimate way to hide is to pretend. Charmander has been hiding for so many years, and it's time for him to stand up. Yu's Keystone was actually given by the system when it rewarded the Mega Evolution Stone. At the moment, although Yu was happy about Charmander's strong rise, he also felt the deep calculation from the system. I always felt that he was tricked by the dog system again. By the way, Charmander's sign-in task is to fight with the Master. Damn. Originally, Yu thought that with Charmander's cautious personality and his temper of never taking action without the certainty of winning, it would be a fool's dream to complete this task. He was glad that he was stable at the time, and mocked the dog system for its miscalculation. As a result, forget it. As long as Charmander is happy. No, it should be called Charizard now. Come on, Charizard. Show them something more powerful. After Yu figured it out, he laughed and shouted, Mega Evolution, Charizard X. Mysterious power came out from the Keystone, and at the same time, the evolution stone worn by Charizard responded synchronously. Wrapped in the light of evolution again, Charizard continued to evolve. Black wings, blue flames, a sharp dragon roar. Charizard X, participate. This time, Yu was too proud. Relying on the power brought by Super Evolution, Charizard X challenged a Fire-type Pokémon across levels. No problem at all. Come on, Charizard X, start with Dragon Dance, and then give him a taste of Dragon Wave. Yu did not let Charizard X use any difficult combos or skills that were too powerful. After all, this guy had just evolved. He was not familiar with his body, and he was not very skilled in the use of power, which was all normal. Infernape, Smoke Charge. Then continuous big font explosion. The idea of the venerable Dongfeng was also very practical. Smoke Charge increased the speed, and then used big font explosion to block the dragon's wave. On the field, Charizard X and Infernape soon fought each other. Off the field, Shyarona opened her mouth slightly and looked at Zumu and Charizard X in shock. She didn't expect that this new friend who saved her and the shark had the strength to defeat the Venerable. Of course, she didn't expect that this new friend wanted to be her boyfriend. Come on, Zumu. Shyarona clenched her fists and cheered Zumu in her heart with a serious face. She was too pure. Shyarona, who received the highest education since childhood, had an extremely pure mind. She didn't understand the complicated relationships outside, nor did she understand power and interests. She only knew that Emperor Yan needed help. Zumu was right. Chapter 30 Sarona's True Identity. After Zumu and Charizard X defeated the Venerable Dongfeng, both of them were panting and half-crouching on the ground. This battle almost exhausted all of Zumu's mental and physical strength. On the other side, the face of the Venerable Dongfeng was extremely ugly. His two licking dogs pretended not to see him, appeared beside the other Venerables, and continued to lick. You lost, and now I want to take Yandy away. Does anyone disagree? Zumu remembered all the disrespect that the Venerable Dongfeng had shown him before. Under normal circumstances, a guy like Zumu who would never let go of the Venerable Dongfeng would definitely not let him go so easily. The reason why he didn't take advantage of this moment to humiliate this old bastard severely was mainly because he didn't have enough trump cards on his side. Both elves have reached their limits. If another strong man jumps out to block the way, Zumu may not be able to bear it. Therefore, it is better to remember the matter of the Venerable Dongfeng first. There is still a long time, and I will slowly find an opportunity to let him return in the future. As for now, it is more important to rescue Yandy as soon as possible. Speaking of Yandy, Zumu felt a little guilty. If it weren't for Greninja forcing Yandy to reveal his strength, Yandy might not have been discovered. In the final analysis, Zumu believed that he was still responsible for this matter. So this time, Zumu protected Yandy not only because of Shyarona, but more because of his subjective will. Seeing Zumu was going to take Yandy away, no one present wanted to agree. But if they really had to be like Dongfeng Zun, who shamelessly bullied Zumu, a rookie trainer, they would be too proud to do it. Dongfeng Zun was quite that, and he wanted to build a memorial archway, which was a bitch. But the others were not like that. They besieged Yandy just to weaken Yandy's strength, and some people even just wanted to see the gap between themselves and Yandy. In fact, it was not too much. It was just a different standpoint. However, if you want to take Yandy away, this is not okay. Not to mention Dongfeng Zun. Everyone present can't do it. Zumu can shout and slap Dongfeng in the face, and everyone is willing to watch the fun. But now, Zumu wants to take Yandy away, which violates everyone's interests. Boy, your name is Zumu, right? A vicissitudes of life voice suddenly sounded in Zumu's heart. The voice sounded a little weak. Being able to communicate with his mind, Zumu subconsciously thought that it was his dog system, and he was about to curse. Fortunately, he still analyzed it rationally. The dog system knew his name, so it would not ask this. I am Yandy, the guy behind you. The weak voice came again, and Zumu realized that it was Yandy who was communicating with him telepathically. So you can talk, why didn't you? Zumu was interrupted by Yandy halfway through his words. I don't have much time. This time I came to the world mainly to complete a task, Yandy said, handing a fairy egg to Zumu. The person I'm looking for should be you. I'll leave this little guy to you. He is very important. Especially important. The Phoenix King asked me to hand it over to the boy who symbolizes the fate of this era. I think it should be okay to hand it over to you. Yandy's voice became weaker and weaker. Zumu stared at the elf egg in his hand blankly, his mind full of question marks. So, you were sent by the Phoenix King, not arranged by the dog system? Ahem. I wronged you, dog system. Wait, the point of the matter doesn't seem to be this. Yandy, wait. Since this egg is so important, you'd better not give it to me. I don't think I'm a good person, and I don't want to bear the fate of any era. I just want to live an ordinary life. Travel around the world with my beloved. You'd better not give me this elf egg. Zumu reacted and quickly refused. This Yandy just appeared and brought such a big trouble. Now he handed this elf egg to Zumu in front of so many people. What's going on? Zumu didn't want his life to be full of troubles in the future, and all kinds of bullshit beasts and snakes would come to trouble him. There's no time, the energy left by the Phoenix King is running out, and I should leave, Yandy said, and his body slowly disappeared in the secret realm. It was as if he had never appeared, and he just disappeared. Zumu was dumbfounded. Brother, you are repaying kindness with enmity. I saved you with good intentions, but you threw a big trouble at me. Be a human being. It's too hard for me. With the disappearance of Yandy, although the big guys were also confused, they knew better what benefits were. The elf egg that Yandy gave to Zumu is definitely a treasure. Boy, hand over this elf egg. You can't have it. The strong man from Western Europe spoke first, and the woman named Leonis spoke, looking like she was ready to snatch it at any time. Get lost. Guys from Western Europe should come to my east to make trouble. Even if this elf egg rots in the east, I won't let you get your hands on it. Bah. Let's drive these two Western European guys out first, and then talk about the elf egg. The strong men from the east fought back strongly, making a gesture of clearing the field together, and drove the two Western European strong men away. Leona's face changed instantly. Normally, there is no regional discrimination between the East and Western Europe. The two sides are also friendly and don't interfere with each other, but now that interests are involved, these strong men from the East suddenly turned against each other. Sister Leona, you go back. Shirona, who had been in the dark, suddenly stood up. Don't get involved in this matter. That Leona wanted to take a risk and see if she could take Zumu's elf egg instantly and then return to Western Europe. Unexpectedly, Shirona was also here, and judging from her attitude, she was on Zumu's side. Okay. Shirona's status is too noble. Even as a venerable, she can only follow orders and dare not disobey. Seeing that this yellow-haired girl who suddenly appeared persuaded the Western European strongman to retreat with just one sentence, a group of Eastern strongmen began to speculate. What is the identity of this girl? Miss, be careful. The people here should not dare to hurt you, but it is probably impossible for this kid to keep the egg. Leona can see clearly that these strong men in the East are a group of wolves, a group of hungry wolves. Zumu's elf egg is already meat on their chopping board. The reason why no one attacks Zumu now is that the wolves are hesitating because of the uneven distribution of the spoils. Once they have discussed it, Zumu will be, "This is my Western European saint. If any accident happens in your eastern land, you know the consequences." Chapter 31. This time, she came to protect him. Before Leona left, she shouted and disclosed Sirona's identity. She was afraid that Sirona would be desperate to protect Zumu, and would be affected in the end. It's hard to say what these strong men from the East can do. Zumu widened his eyes and looked at Sirona in a daze. Damn, this girl is a saint? The saint of Western Europe is equivalent to the prince of the East. She will definitely succeed to the chief in the future and take charge of all of Western Europe. In an instant, Zumu felt a little inferior. I am a child from an ordinary family. Although I am the protagonist, I am really a little afraid to marry a saint like you. Oh, thinking of how he coaxed Sirona and held her little hand before, Zumu couldn't help but smile bitterly. Really, it turns out that I am the clown. Now in order to save Emperor Yen, I have ended up in such an embarrassing situation and my life is in danger at any time. Not to mention the embarrassment. The main thing is that I feel inferior. Sirona didn't know what Zumu was thinking, and slowly walked to his side. Let's give this elf egg to them. It's useless for them to take it away now. I will ask my father to get it back. Sirona said it sincerely, or rather, she would never lie. When the strong men in the distance heard Sirona's words, their expressions suddenly changed and they began to make other plans in their hearts. No need. This guy is very important. It is said that he can change this era. Emperor Yen gave him to me, but I don't know if I am worthy of this responsibility. So, let all of this be chosen by fate. If I am not worthy of being this guy's partner, then it is inevitable that he will be taken away from me. Zumu looked at Sirona calmly and said in a calm tone, these words were also half true and half false. The true part was that he didn't want to hand over the egg. Although he knew that Sirona would use her relationship to get the elf egg back, Zumu still didn't want to hand it over. It was really unpleasant to be treated as fish on the chopping board and cut and played with at will. Zumu would rather die together than endure such humiliation. Moreover, No one knows what kind of elf is in the egg and how long it will take to hatch. If Chirona's father delayed the time and let the egg hatch early, maybe he really won't come back. As for the fake part, Zumu said to let fate choose. Bullshit fate, my fate is in my own hands. Zumu doesn't believe in fate. If crossing is fate, then why doesn't everyone cross over? It's better to believe in the dog system than to believe in fate. Give the candle dragon bloodline to Charizard, quickly. Zumu secretly ordered the system in his heart and tried to delay time as much as possible. Host completes the Charmander sign-in task. Carry or use Charmander to fight a master-level battle in the Evergreen Forest Secret Realm. Reward Candle Dragon Bloodline. This was the previous system prompt. It's just that Zumu was delayed by the matter of Emperor Yan just now, so he didn't check the reward in time. Seeing that Zumu seemed to have made up his mind, Chirona stopped persuading him, but stubbornly stood beside Zumu and took Zumu's hand. I'm with you, they don't dare to hurt you. Before, Zumu said that he would protect Chirona, and use this as an excuse to hold Chirona's soft and smooth little hand. Now, the situation is reversed. Chirona took the initiative to grab Zumu's hand. This time, she came to protect him. It's a pleasure to meet you. If there is a chance, I hope I can be the one who accompanies you for the rest of your life, Zumu said in a low voice. I don't know if Chirona heard it clearly. Her big eyes were a little confused, but also a little determined. Roar, a loud dragon roar. It's a fire-breathing dragon. He successfully merged the blood of the candle dragon, and his strength has been qualitatively improved. Elf, fire-breathing dragon, attribute, fire, dragon, strength, peak of the king. Features, sun power, attack power increases in sunny weather skills, reverse scale, dragon star cluster, dragon wave, dragon tail, overheat, big word explosion, jet flame, sun flame, tile splitting, iron tail, primal power. Sign-in task. The host has insufficient number of elves, and the advanced sign-in task has not been unlocked yet. Please capture more elves and increase your authority. Peak of the king. Zumu smiled with satisfaction. As long as the current Charizard Mega evolves into Charizard X, the Candle Dragon bloodline in his body will be maximized. I'm afraid it's possible to reach the peak of the Master in one fell swoop. Come on, a bunch of scum. You want to snatch something from me? Let's see if you have the qualifications. Zumu gritted his teeth and looked at the group of strong men in the distance, roaring angrily. Roar, all of you die. Charizard also let out a loud dragon roar with Zumu's anger. The strong men were confused. However, after a brief period of confusion, they cheered up again. It must be that Emperor Yan left some treasure before he left, and his fire-breathing dragon absorbed it. Yes, that elf egg must be the elf egg of a divine beast. We can't let this kid go. We have offended this kid to death today. If we let him go today, we will definitely have a hard time when he grows up in the future. That's right, let's do it. Let's get rid of this kid first. The strong men talked in unison, and released their elves one after another, ready to attack Zumu. Although they shouted happily, they were actually panicking in their hearts. Zumu is too evil. A boy of 15 or 16 actually has 2 elves at the peak level of the king, and he also mastered Mega Evolution. If this kid doesn't die today, he will definitely become a peerless genius in the East after he goes out. It is not impossible for him to be favored by the chief and even accepted as a disciple and crowned as a prince. If that is the case, then they must act now and must kill Zumu. No matter how to deal with it afterwards, they must not let him go now. Too evil. If this kid is not eliminated, there will be endless troubles. Seeing a group of master-level elves rushing towards him and Charizard, Zumu laughed crazily. This world is really a cannibalistic world. I just want to live honestly. Is it so difficult? Charizard, Mega Evolve, kill me, kill as many as you can. Greninja, transform, fight with me. Cool, I am willing to go through fire and water for the Zoo family for generations, and I will do anything for it. Greninja croaked, endured its exhausted body, and completed the bond's transformation again. The joke at the beginning turned out to be a fact at this moment. Roar. Got it, Zumu? Although Charizard has known Zumu for less than a month, he can Mega Evolve, which shows that he recognizes Zumu, and Zumu recognizes him. Fight. Fight for friends. Chapter 32 Dad's grand appearance. Zumu was furious. He brought his 2 elves with him and killed whoever came. Do you really think I am a soft persimmon? Today, this elf egg is here. Whoever wants it can come. Those who are not afraid of death can come. Kill him. He is only one person. Don't be afraid. They are just 2 master-level elves. Let's go together. Yes, let's go together. A group of strong men shouted, but no one dared to take the lead. They were afraid. Everyone was afraid that Zumu would kill their main force, which would greatly reduce their strength and lead to not being able to share the benefits they deserved. People die for money and birds die for food. They were tempted by the benefits and willing to offend Zumu. At this moment, they also retreated for the benefits and hesitated to step forward. A bunch of trash, who are afraid of wolves in front and tigers behind. Are they worthy of becoming strong? Do you know why you can't get to the king? Because you are too soft. Trash, who dares to come? I will kill 2 of you to bury me. Zumu shouted arrogantly, facing a group of strong men who are stronger than him, without any fear. Seeing Zumu start to mock, Shirona was worried that the strong men would be angry and wanted to make Zumu calm down. She exerted a little force with her hands. Don't worry, even if I don't do this, they won't let me go. Since I'm going to die anyway, why don't I die gloriously? I will trample on their dignity. Even if I die, these bastards will live in my shadow for the rest of their lives. Zumu gritted his teeth and said word by word. His voice was loud, and he didn't care that his thoughts were heard by those strong men. Bastard, I can't stand it. One person suddenly became furious and ordered his Raiden to attack Charizard with a rock collapse. With his order, those strong men also took action. At the same time, countless powerful skills attacked Zumu's 2 elves. As for Zumu, no one attacked. The main reason was that Shirona was still there, and they didn't dare to hurt Shirona. Zumu was just an ordinary little person. These people still dared to take his gains from Zumu, but they wanted to continue to live after taking the treasure and enjoy it. Sirona is a taboo that must not be touched. How dare you do it? You have really grown up. You dared to kill your father. Zumu laughed arrogantly, commanding Greninja with telepathy while commanding Charizard. However, there were too many opponents. Even if Zumu was the champion of the Pokémon contest in his previous life, he had never encountered such a situation. Charizard fell first. Then Greninja was also beaten back to its original form by the attacks of these people. In an instant, the situation became one-sided, and a group of strong men pressed forward step by step, coming to less than 10 meters in front of Zumu. Hand over the Pokémon egg. With the saint here, you can still keep your life. One person looked at Zumu coldly and said arrogantly, "Get out, trash." Zumu looked at the man with disdain and snorted coldly, "Don't you dare to kill me, you bunch of rubbish. I've only been a trainer for less than a month, and it's already like this. As long as I don't die today, you will face endless troubles in the future. You bunch of rubbish, it's useless to say anything now. Come on, I've remembered every one of you. The Pokémon egg is in my arms. Come and grab it." Zumu yelled, and the veins on his neck popped out. "Don't worry about it, it's already come to this. None of us can escape. I'll do it. You hold him down." "No, I'll do it. Let me go, everyone." The strong men didn't care about Zumu's threat. The reason why they didn't start to snatch it was that they were still on guard against each other. At the moment, just like just now, no one wanted to be the first to do it. Who knows what kind of Pokémon is in this Pokémon egg? If it is really a mythical beast, will the first guy who gets the Pokémon egg really hand it over? Ha ha ha, a bunch of scum. Do you deserve to be called strong? Zumu looked at them with disdain, and still cursed without mercy. "Boy, shut up." One person couldn't help it, and yelled at Zumu. At the same time, his Alakazam directly activated his telekinesis and was about to snatch the Pokémon egg from Zumu. At the critical moment, a voice came from a distance. "You should shut up." Boom. A destructive death ray hit Alakazam's body. The man in a blue robe walked slowly. He walked very slowly, and a strong murderous aura emanated from his whole body. The moment the blue-robed man appeared, all the strong men were dumbfounded. Why is he here? Isn't he at the border? No. Isn't he fighting with Team Rocket? Why is he here? It's over. Everyone looked at the blue-robed man in shock, whispering in disbelief, The blue-robed man walked in front of Greninja and helped him up. "Cool, master. I'm sorry." "You have tried your best and done well," the blue-robed man said, and continued to walk forward until he came to Zoomu. He ignored the group of strong men and walked through them. Those people consciously made way for him. "Boy, you are my offspring, and you have the style of my past," the man said to Zoomu with a big laugh when he came to Zoomu. Zoomu was stunned. Everyone was also stunned. "Where are the ordinary people you said you would be? It turns out that you are the second generation. You said you would play and make trouble together, but you went to find your parents when you disagreed?" Zoomu didn't expect that his father, who had been missing for many years, would come back like this. It seems that he is quite awesome. Zoomu opened his mouth and didn't know what to say. "What? You said you would give this bastard a punch. Are you kidding? Only a fool would give him a punch. This cheap father is so awesome. It's fine if you don't lick him, but you still want to give him a punch? Forget it. I'll deal with these guys first." Zoomu's father wanted to say something, but he thought the occasion was not appropriate. Turning his head, he looked at the strong men. "Robber my son's things? You are awesome. I won't waste my words. Be sensible. Don't resist. I don't feel any pain when I kill people." As Zoomu's father said this, he licked the corner of his mouth cruelly, and a murderous aura broke out again. "Boss Cat, do it." A ray of light flashed like lightning, jumping back and forth in the crowd. With his order, a group of strong men fell down one after another. Blood splattered. Zoomu widened his eyes and looked at this cheap father in disbelief. So awesome. These people really didn't dare to resist, just lined up and waited to die obediently. So obedient? In less than 10 breaths, the only people who could breathe at the scene were Zoomu, Shirona, and Zoomu's cheap father. All those strong men who had just been so arrogant and wanted to rob Zoomu's elf egg died. "You were quite tough just now, worthy of being my son, and performed well." Chapter 33, The Strongest Second Generation Zoomu. To make a long story short, "Girl, can you go over there and wait for a while?" The cheap old man spoke and asked Sirona to leave first. Sirona looked at Zoomu, nodded obediently, let go of the little hand she was holding, and walked to the side to apply medicine to Trizzard and Greninja. After Sirona left, the cheap old man reached out and patted Zoomu's head. "You've grown taller and more handsome, but not as handsome as me." As he said that, he looked at Zoomu again. "Your mother, is she okay?" Zoomu nodded. "She's fine. She cried a lot at first, but then she got used to it. By the way, I asked her to remarry and give me a younger brother. Our family of 4 is living a good life." Zoomu said ramblingly, thinking to himself, "Mom, I can only do this much. If you ask me to punch him now, I really can't do it. The main reason is that I don't dare. This bastard man is too strong." After hearing what Zoomu said, the cheap old man smiled. A slap landed on Zoomu's head, and he laughed and scolded. "Did you lie to your father? Do you really think I know nothing? You bastard, you remarried. Why didn't you say you were not my biological child?" Zoomu was stunned, raised his head and looked at his cheap father in astonishment. "I really am not." "Forget it. I won't bother with you. We haven't seen each other for so many years. I'll have a good chat with you when we leave the secret realm later. Just pretend you haven't seen me. Don't tell outsiders that I have appeared," cheap father said, sitting on the ground. Zoomu also sat down. He just used the bond transformation twice in a row. His body couldn't bear it. "Want to know where I have been all these years?" Zoomu nodded. "I can't tell you. You are too weak." Zoomu was speechless. He couldn't say it. "But you still asked. Don't you know that it is easy to rot your tongue when you say half of the words?" Cheap father smiled and said, "I will help you deal with this matter later, and no one will hold you responsible. Don't worry. Your father is a serious man." Zoomu was still speechless. A serious person kills without blinking an eye? A serious person is full of murderous intent? A serious person hides his head and shows his tail? Do you think I am stupid, or are you stupid? Forget it. Let's not talk about me. I can't tell you anything. It's boring. The cheap old man seemed to realize that it was awkward to chat like this, and changed the subject. "Why didn't you go to school?" Zoomu thought about it and said, "I didn't want to be a trainer, so I dropped out of school." The cheap old man was immediately furious. "You don't want to be a trainer? Then why did you come to me? This world is so dangerous. If you don't become a trainer, how can you protect yourself and your mother? Zoomu stared at the cheap old man in a daze, and said calmly, not being a trainer doesn't mean I am a weak person. That won't work either. You are just a nobody. King of heaven, master, supreme. These are not enough. If you don't work hard, if your father dies one day, you will really become a salted fish, the cheap old man said anxiously, as if there was really any danger that could destroy the world at any time. Zoomu was somewhat helpless. Isn't it good to be a salted fish? He was a little suspicious now, that his cheap old father might be an actor hired by the dog system. Apart from anything else, just from his tone, he was very much like a dog system that wanted to become stronger. Sure enough, this world is not that simple. There must be something super dangerous waiting for me to do, such as saving the world. Zoomu sneered, I won't go. Whoever wants to go can go. Forget it. Do whatever you want. A plain life is also good. It seems that he was hit by Zoomu's attitude. It seems that he thought of something, and the cheap old father smiled bitterly in a decadence. In short, this world is very dangerous. You'd better become stronger, not for anything else, just to protect yourself. You have to become stronger. The cheap old father raised his head, looked at Zoomu seriously and instructed. Zoomu nodded reluctantly, indicating that he knew. By the way, I originally engaged you, but when I saw the girl next to you, I regretted it. The cheap old father clicked his tongue. He didn't expect Zoomu to be able to get such a beautiful girl by himself. Alright, kid, it's up to your dad. Huh? Are you engaged? Zoomu asked curiously. Tell me, which girl is she? The cheap dad was speechless and shook his head. You can't know her. She is the daughter of my comrade in arms, but I think this blonde girl is good. Let's put the marriage aside for now. Seeing that he didn't say anything, Zoomu didn't ask. After all, as a human being, even though you are LSP, you still have principles and bottom lines. You can't have your cake and eat it too, right? Okay, there's nothing else to explain. Seeing that you are living well, I feel relieved. The cheap dad thought about it and it seemed that there was nothing else to say. He patted his butt and stood up, his back to Zoomu. Remember, don't be afraid of anyone when you go out in the future. Your father is still alive. When something happens, I will naturally show up. I'm fighting hard outside the border. If my son is bullied, it will definitely not work. Don't worry, as long as your father is not dead, you can make a fuss and poke a hole in the sky. I can cover it. As he said, he slowly walked away. Live well and take good care of your mother. If someone makes trouble for her, don't be polite. Just kill them directly. I'm leaving first. Come to me when you become stronger, or I will come back to save you when you are about to die one day. After saying this, the cheap old father whistled, and a war feather eagle fell from the sky. He left. The man came in a hurry and left in a hurry. Zoomu looked up and watched the war feather eagle in the sky turn into a small black dot and finally leave the chimpanzee secret realm. Although the cheap old father refused to tell him anything, Zoomu still analyzed some important information from a few words. Danger. He has always said that this world is very dangerous. Isn't that right? Isn't this a world of peace, with East and West Europe living in harmony? Border. I heard from my cheap dad that he was at the border, and it seemed that he was still fighting hard and experiencing battles. Also, he said that he was very weak. Even the Supreme was very weak. What kind of situation and what kind of danger requires a being above the Supreme to deal with? Shaking his head, Zoomu decided not to think about these for the time being. Anyway, he is still a newcomer and is still far from the so-called Supreme. Zoomu was quite excited when he suddenly knew that he was actually a super awesome second generation. Did you hear that? My cheap dad said that you can go wild as much as you want. You can even make a big fuss in heaven. Sure enough, I said that I am the child of destiny. Look, I am a time traveler, and I have my own system. I start as the king of heaven, Greninja, and the mysterious dad is a super strong man. With this strength, who can compete with me in the entire elf world? Chapter 34, Hatching Elf Eggs. Arceus. Shyarona had already applied medicine to Charizard and Greninja. Zoomu put them back into the Pokeball and said, "Thank you for your hard work." Cool. It's not hard. It's my honor to fight for the Zoo family for generations. Roar. I felt frustrated this time. It seems that I am not strong enough. I have to be more careful in the future. The two guys responded to Zoomu and the Pokeball, and Zoomu smiled faintly. Good guy, you seem to be in good spirits. Just now. Thank you so much. Extra meal for the evening. Putting the Pokeball on his waist, Zoomu naturally took Shirona's hand. Thank you. Shirona shook her head. It has nothing to do with me. I didn't help you much. Don't thank me. Zoomu also shook his head. You didn't leave just now, which is the best help to me. Zoomu's words made Shirona confused and didn't quite understand what he meant, but since Zoomu said so, she no longer refuted, and let Zoomu hold her little hand, looking at her peerless face affectionately. At this moment, the elf egg in Zoomu's arms may have felt the power of dog food, and suddenly began to shake violently. Then, a dazzling white light shone. Swish! A white elf like an alpaca appeared in Zoomu's arms. Fuck, Arceus? Zoomu was stunned, and blurted out, fuck. Is Yendi joking with me? Was your Arceus hatched from an elf egg? A creator god hatched out of a disagreement? I saved you, and you stabbed me in the back? The creator god is such a precious elf. You said to give it to me? Are you repaying me, or are you harming me? Zoomu, what kind of elf is this? So cute. Shirona didn't know Arceus, but she thought the little guy was cute and cute. Ahem. Zoomu coughed dryly, not knowing how to explain. Could it be that he was going to tell Sirona that this was the god of creation, who could create a world? Or was he going to tell Sirona that this guy was the king of gods, number one among all the mythical beasts? Zoomu looked at the ignorant little guy in his arms who hadn't opened his eyes yet, and suddenly had the urge to throw it away. It's a big trouble. If Arceus just obeys me like this, will there be a peaceful life in the future? Dad, don't throw me away. Perhaps sensing Zoomu's thoughts, Arceus's childish voice sounded in Zoomu's heart. It's telepathy. Don't call me Dad, call me Zoomu. Zoomu said with a serious face, I'm going to be a father before I get married. That's not okay. You can call me anything, but you can't call me Dad. Suddenly, Zoomu found that Sirona's face was slightly red, as if she was shy. Zoomu, who didn't understand, asked, what's wrong? Shirona lowered her head and answered a little embarrassedly, he called me Mom. Sure enough, Zoomu slapped his forehead and thought to himself, you are right, good boy. I recognize you as my son, and I will call you like this from now on. Although he was ecstatic in his heart, Zoomu pretended to be helpless on the surface and said to Shirona, just respond like this for now. He is still young and doesn't understand the world of us adults. It will be fine in the future. Shirona nodded blankly, not knowing that she had been led into a ditch by Zoomu. As for why this newly born Pokemon can telepathize, Shirona completely forgot her doubts. The call of Mom has already taken away all her thinking ability. Looking at Arceus in his arms, Zoomu suddenly thought of the dog system. Come on, let me see how you trick me this time. Don't you just want me to be a trainer? Now I have the god of creation. I wonder what else you can do. Zoomu opened the system panel and found that Arceus had been identified as Zoomu's Pokemon by the system and occupied a slot. Elf, Arceus, attributes, ordinary, strength, early heavenly king, newborn, features, multiple attributes. Arceus can use the slate to change into any attribute. Skills, punishment of light gravel, signed-in task. Please wait for the system to upgrade. After the upgrade, Arceus will start the series of tasks to retrieve the slate. Zoomu smiled. He is indeed the god of creation, born as a heavenly king, and forced to upgrade by the dog system. This little guy is good. It's really amazing. Haven't you seen him? Zoomu looked at Sirona and asked in confusion. According to the original work, Arceus is a legendary elf in the Sinnoh region, and is also an existence that Sirona has been studying, but in this world, it seems that Sirona does not know Arceus. I don't know. I have never seen any records about him. Sirona said that she had never seen this alpaca-like elf. Zoomu nodded secretly. If even a big family like Sirona does not know Arceus, then this world may really have no legend of Arceus. His name is Arceus, and he is an extremely rare elf. Zoomu introduced him to Sirona, then he felt that he had recovered some strength and stood up. Let's go first. It's getting dark. Let's leave the secret realm first. Sirona was very obedient. She nodded obediently and followed Zumu all the way to the exit of the secret realm. By the way, where do you live in Shish? Zumu thought that he would have to worry about accommodation after leaving the secret realm, so he asked. Sirona didn't know what he was thinking, so she answered seriously, I'm staying in a villa. It's the house of a venerable in Western Europe. Sirona's words instantly made Zumu realize that rich people are different. Big shots are big shots. They have to live in a villa when they go out. Fortunately, I, Zumu, am also a big shot now. As a top second generation, staying in a hotel is no longer worthy of my level. I also want to live in a villa. I live in a hotel in the city, but Charizard and Greninja are injured, and the room is too small. Zumu showed a look of embarrassment. Sirona was smart at this time and guessed what Zumu meant in an instant. Then come to my place. I can't use such a big house by myself. It's just right for them to recuperate. Is it bad? It's okay. We are friends. We should help each other. It's really bad. After all, we have only known each other for a short time. It's really okay. I really can't live in such a big house by myself. Okay. Zumu reluctantly accepted the invitation of Ms. Sirona. Since you sincerely invited me, I will be a little polite and then accept it sincerely. You see, let me say that the hotel is no longer worthy of my identity as the second generation of Zumu. Now I am also a man living in a villa. LSP self-cultivation is so outstanding. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35. A foodie's life needs no explanation. After returning to the hotel to get his luggage, Zumu followed Sirona directly to the villa where she was staying temporarily. To be honest, it was really big. Sit down first, I'll get you a drink. Although Sirona was cute, as a noble, she still had good manners. As the hostess, the first thing she did after entering the house was to let Zumu take a rest before packing his luggage. Okay. Zumu put down his bags, sat on the sofa, and looked at this huge villa. It's really good. Rich people are different. Although I am now considered a super second generation and a rich man, but this kind of life is really luxurious. The huge 1- and 2-story villa covers an area of 600 square meters. The interior decoration is pure European style, with smooth floors and neat and refreshing interior furnishings. It can be seen that someone often comes to clean. Although the owner of the villa is not there, he also keeps the hygiene in the villa clean at all times. I can't look at it anymore. I can't help wanting it if I look at it again. Zumu stopped his desire to continue watching, took the drink brought by Sirona, and gulped down a big mouthful. Zumu, look at this. Sirona was holding a poster with a huge trophy pattern on it. What is this? Zumu asked subconsciously. Sirona explained, this is the competition of the Little God of War Cup. Newcomers with certain strength will be invited. Not wanting to be a trainer, Zumu said he had no feelings for the competition. A certain strength, so you are also invited? Zumu's words made Sirona blush with embarrassment. I just want to join in the fun, Sirona said, and suddenly remembered that Zumu was also a new trainer. You should go too. Didn't we say we would travel together? I'll ask them to invite you, and then we'll go to King Cheng together. Zumu didn't care, although he didn't feel anything about the competition. He had feelings for Sirona. Since Sirona was going, he would go with her to have fun. It's just a small competition. No big deal. If it doesn't work, just go all the way. As long as the dog system is not a shady place for me, it's fine. Zumu added silently in his heart and said with a smile, okay, let's go together. Seeing Zumu agreed, Sirona happily picked up the communicator and arranged a back door for Zumu on the spot. When she put down the communicator happily, Zumu said with a sly smile, did you call me like this to get your place? No, I really have the strength. After saying this, Sirona herself was a little unconfident. Now she only has a round land shark, and it seems that her strength is not that good. After all, She hasn't grown up yet. What kind of strong strength can a little princess who has just obtained the initial elf have? What are you going to eat tonight? Zumu saw Shyarona was angry and quickly changed the subject and stopped teasing her. I don't know. I eat whatever my aunt cooks. Shyarona blinked her big eyes with an innocent look. Her life state is to go with the flow and be very casual. In short, cute. Okay, I'll show you my skills tonight. You don't need to ask auntie to cook. How about I grill meat for you? Zumu thought about it and decided to have a perfect courtyard barbecue with Shyarona. There is a large courtyard outside the villa, which is perfect for barbecue. Barbecue? Great. Shyarona nodded happily, and then suddenly said, I want to eat ice cream. Zumu was stunned. Sure enough, this was Shyrona's real hammer. Shyarona who doesn't eat ice cream is not the real Shyarona. Okay, I remember. In the evening, when Zumu was busy for more than an hour, he finally prepared the skewers. Come on, my little princess, eat some ice cream first, and then we'll have dinner. Zumu naturally knew that ice cream was not good for the stomach, but Shyarona liked it. In Shyrona's words, you can skip 3 meals a day, but ice cream must be arranged. Charizard, light this pile of charcoal. Let Charizard play the role of a lighter, and Zumu started grilling. Cool. What is this, little master? Greninja smelled the fragrance and hurried over to ask. Of course, he was asking on the surface, but he was actually telling Zumu that he wanted to eat. Following closely behind were Charizard, Round Land Shark, and Arceus. Especially Arceus, although this little guy was born less than a day ago, he can already run around by himself. This is barbecue. Wait a minute, I'll give some to Sirona first, and then we'll eat. Since the barbecue stove was not big, Zumu naturally chose to be partial to Sirona and eat the first pot first. Although the elves were greedy, they didn't have any objections. Dad, I want to eat. I'm hungry. A wronged voice came from the bottom of his heart, and Zumu looked at Arceus beside him. The little guy was lying on Zumu's legs, looking at the barbecue on the stove, drooling. After all, you are also the god of creation. A barbecue makes you so greedy? Can you give the god of creation some face? Zumu looked at the little guy speechlessly, and helplessly put a skewer of freshly grilled meat next to his mouth. Be careful of the heat. Before Zumu finished speaking, he saw Arceus, who couldn't wait, swallowed the whole bamboo skewer in one gulp. You can't eat that skewer, just eat the meat on it. Zumu was speechless. How greedy this little guy was. Delicious. I want more. Arceus's cry came again in his heart. Zumu helplessly picked up another one and handed it to him, and then told him the correct way to eat it little by little. Shyarona, come and eat. Calling Shyarona, Zumu handed her the first batch of grilled barbecue. Shyarona just tasted a small bite, and her eyes burst into golden light instantly. Delicious. Then, Shyarona and Arceus were seen guarding Zumu on the left and right. Whenever there was a grilled skewer of meat, the two little cuties looked at Zumu pitifully at the same time, waiting to be fed. As for Greninja, Charizard and Round Land Shark, sorry, you are not cute and don't deserve to eat skewers. The Round Land Shark couldn't help it, seeing that Sirona and Arceus could eat delicious food with their good looks. He also came up with his big head. With a soft cry, the Round Land Shark wanted to attract Zumu's attention. However, maybe he was too ugly when he acted cute. Zumu just glanced at him and ignored him. He continued to feed his two little cuties. Ding. System upgrade completed. Please check it out. The system sounded. Maybe this dog thing was greedy when he saw the delicious food. Zumu ignored him and continued to grill meat for Sirona and Arceus with great concentration. Chapter 36. Has the dog system changed for the better? At the end of the story, Sirona and Arceus finally ate their fill, and each of them ran to the side to rest with their round bellies. The elves who had been neglected had a chance to come forward and try to snatch food from Zumu's hands. However, Zumu hadn't eaten yet. He was greedy after feeding the two little cuties for so long. Wait a minute, wait until I finish eating. Then, with the three elves of Greninja watching eagerly, Zumu finished the last piece of barbecue. No more, let's talk about it tomorrow. We didn't prepare enough today. A real resentment gathered in the courtyard, and Zumu ran away without saying a word. After a perfect barbecue, Zumu lay on the bed and turned on the system that had just been upgraded. Dog system, you can't cheat me anymore. I'm telling you, I'm now a super second generation. I don't need to become stronger in the future. Just eating my old capital is enough for me to eat and drink. So, if you want me to be a trainer, you can dream about it. After warning the dog system in advance, Zumu opened the panel and began to check his 3 Pokémon. Pokémon, Greninja, attributes, water, evil, strength, mid-level king, features, change freely. Every time you use a move, your attribute becomes the same as the move attribute. Skills, Rasengan, Shadow Clone Technique, Substitution Technique, Water Shuriken, Sneak Attack, Water Wave, Water Cannon, Shadow Clone, Sign-In Task, carry or use Greninja to win once in the World King Tournament. Sharingan, Zumu nodded, with no obvious changes on his face. What World King Tournament? Fortunately, I don't have to go. It's not a big problem. Continue to the next one and take a look at Charizard. Elf, Charizard, attribute, fire, dragon, strength, early heavenly king, features, sun power, attack power increases in sunny weather, skills, reverse scale, dragon star cluster, dragon wave, dragon tail, overheat, big word explosion, jet flame, sun flame, tile splitting, iron tail, primal power, sign-in task, carry or use Charizard to fight Lugia in the Meteor Falls Secret Realm, Kunt Bloodline. This is also okay. Zumu nodded to indicate that he could accept it. What Meteor Falls Secret Realm? Just try not to go there. Even if you go there you may not meet Lugia. Even if you do meet one, that's not a big deal. At most you won't fight. Just run away. When I see a Lugia I don't catch it. I just run. Hey, just play. Zumu thought, and praised the dog system in his heart. This time it was still more reliable. There was no dog-like operation. The tasks were not too easy to complete. It was acceptable. Although after the incident in the Evergreen Secret Realm, Zumu had a little desire for strength. But compared with the danger of becoming a trainer, Zumu was still willing to hide. Wouldn't it be good to accompany Sirona around the world? What's the point of being a trainer? I have nothing to do. Finally, he opened Arceus's panel and took a look. Pokémon, Arceus, attributes, normal, strength, early stage of the king, newborn, features, multiple attributes. Arceus can use stone tablets to change to any attribute. Skills, punishment, natural light gravel, attendance tasks. 1. Carry or use Arceus King Chang to participate in a battle, a random stone tablet. 2. Carry or use Arceus to participate in a battle at Meteor Falls, a random stone tablet. 3. Carry or use Arceus to participate in a king-level battle, a random stone tablet. Not bad. It's still acceptable. What kind of stone tablet is this? Arceus should have 18 of them. According to this reward, it shouldn't be too soon to collect them all. I can still survive. Calculating to himself, Zumu felt that it was a bit unreal. That's not right. Has the dog system changed its ways? Why doesn't it trick me into becoming a trainer? Impossible. As the saying goes, a dog can't change its ways. Can the dog system change its ways? This is absolutely impossible. Zumu was skeptical and saw a prompt at the bottom of the system. In order to ensure that the host can complete the sign-in task, the system will refresh the special sign-in task from time to time. Once the special sign-in task is triggered, it must be completed. Sure enough, Zumu laughed. Bastard, I knew that you, this dog thing, had bad intentions. Special sign-in task? Just say mandatory task. Dog system, this is grown up and playing tricks. If I hadn't been cautious and took a special look, I would have been fooled by you. Why do you arrange a mandatory task for me? Can't I refuse? Zumu asked. The system did not respond as usual. When Zumu gradually lost his patience and was ready to start looking for a way to uninstall the system issued a new prompt. Ding. Special sign-in tasks are emergency tasks in critical periods. They will not appear under normal circumstances. If they appear, it must be that the host encounters an unexpected situation that cannot be solved. Zumu understood. That is to say, if there is no such thing normally, he can ignore it. But the system was frightened by Zumu's suicidal behavior this time. so it arranged an insurance for Zumyu. If something like this happens again next time, Zumyu will be assigned a special signed-in task to help him escape from the crisis or other accidents. Okay, your explanation is acceptable. Zumyu saw that the dog system seemed to really care about him. Although he was still confused, he did not resist too much. Let's do it this way for now, and take it one step at a time. Anyway, Zumyu's principles and positions are very simple. I can't consider anything you ask me to do. But if you want me to be a trainer, no way. After washing up, Zumyu fell on the bed and called Zu's mother to report that he was safe. Then he fell asleep. He was really too tired today. 2 consecutive bond transformations put a huge burden on Zumyu's body. The special ability of falling asleep naturally was mastered by Zumyu. On the other side, Shirona was lying on the bed and chatting with a round land shark beside her pillow. Tell me, what kind of existence is Zumyu's father? We just came all the way back like this, as if nothing happened. It's unbelievable. This is the East. Zumyu's father is so powerful. What kind of person is he? Oh, I don't know either. By the way, is Zumyu's grilled skewers delicious? I didn't eat any today. Seeing you guys eating so happily, I feel wronged. Maybe it's not suitable to be cute. When the round land shark expressed his dissatisfaction and began to complain to Shirona, Shirona also mastered the legendary skill of sleeping in seconds and fell asleep directly. Chapter 37 When childhood sweethearts meet. A drop from the sky. Early in the morning, Zumyu was arranged by Arceus's face-licking wake-up service. After wiping the saliva on his face, Zumyu looked at Arceus speechlessly. You guy, why are you hungry again? Is your stomach a bottomless pit? Zumyu complained softly and wanted to continue sleeping, but he soon sat up straight and jumped off the bed. I'll make breakfast for you. Wait a minute, Zumyu said helplessly, and hurried to comfort little Arceus. There was no way. This guy said he was hungry, and he would cry if Zumyu didn't cook for him. The cry was aggrieved, as if Zumyu had done something against the will of heaven. Boo! Daddy doesn't let me eat. Woo woo woo. I'm so hungry. I'm going to starve to death. I'm so pitiful. Daddy doesn't cook. I'm going to starve to death. The tears of the little guy made Zumyu collapse. Ancestor, don't cry. What do you want to eat? I'll make it for you now. Don't cry. I'll cook for you now. Can you be quiet for a while? Seeing Zumyu agreed, little Arceus stopped crying. Sure enough, the crying child gets the milk. The ancients were not deceiving me. The naughty child Arceus woke Zumyu up, and then ran to Shirona's room without stopping. He woke her up with the same face-licking style, and then picked up the snacks beside Shirona's bed and started eating. Shirona looked at the silly look of the little guy, couldn't help but chuckle, and started to wash up. When Zumyu finished making breakfast, Shirona also packed up. Are we leaving tomorrow or today? Shirona asked happily while enjoying Zumyu's loving breakfast. When does the competition start? Zumyu mixed the elf food before sitting at the dining table, picked up a sandwich and started eating. Shirona found the poster again and took a look. Then she said in surprise, oh my god, the first round of preliminaries will be this afternoon. I just found out. Zumyu smiled, as expected. If I didn't ask, are you still planning to go to King Cheng tomorrow? Okay, let's go after dinner. Should we book the tickets directly? Hearing this, Shirona shook her head and said that she didn't need to book a ticket. Let Uncle Tatu come and take us there by helicopter. There should be a place to stay there. Zumyu was stunned. Well, he still didn't expect that rich people could be so rich that they could be so unscrupulous. Private planes pick us up anytime and anywhere, and there are properties all over the country. This is simply okay. Indicating that he accepted the arrangement, Zumyu didn't say anything more, so as not to be attacked by Shirona again. After breakfast, Uncle Tatu also arrived. He first handed Shirona's new identity certificate and some reissued documents to her, and then sat in the driver's seat. What is this? Zumyu looked at the new bag in Shirona's hand in confusion and asked, didn't my previous backpack fall into the secret realm? This is the various certificates and cards that have just been reissued. Zumyu nodded and couldn't ask any more questions. So many certificates can be reissued in one day. I don't want to know the details, and I won't ask. As for the group of strong men who were killed by the cheap old man in the secret realm before, In the matter of Emperor Yen, Zumu still didn't know how to deal with the follow-up of this matter. Anyway, no one came to ask, and the old man said not to worry about it, so there was no problem. The helicopter was very fast. In less than 3 hours, Zumu and Shirona arrived in Qingcheng. Then, under the leadership of Uncle Tatu, they came to a new luxurious villa. Saint Lady, I will take my leave first. After settling Shirona, Uncle Tatu left. But before leaving, he still gave Zumu a vicious look. There was a warning in it. Zumu shamelessly pretended not to see it, whistled indifferently and put down his backpack. There is still time, let's eat something, and then go to the venue to participate in the competition, Shirona said, walked straight to the refrigerator and opened it. She took out a bucket of ice cream from it and sat back on the sofa happily. Do you want to eat? Zumu shook his head quickly. How did the stomach of the ice cream girl grow? Aren't you afraid of ice? Eating cold food on an empty stomach, won't it hurt when you have your period? On the way to the venue, Zumu naturally held Shirona's hand. Shirona was stunned, and suddenly smiled cunningly. There is no danger outside now. Why are you still holding me? Zumu was caught off guard by her sudden attack, but he quickly thought of an excuse. With a faint smile, Zumu said, the world outside is more dangerous. Didn't your family tell you? When Shirona heard it, it seemed to be the same. Forget it. It's quite comfortable to hold hands like this anyway, so let him hold it. In this way, the two came to the venue. After verifying their identities, they entered the players' preparation area. Zumu actually didn't know that this little God of War Cup was a competition prepared for powerful rookie trainers. But in fact, it was a game for a group of descendants of strong people. To put it bluntly, these are all children of big people, that is, geniuses among geniuses. They have been receiving two completely different education methods from ordinary children since childhood. As for elves, they have also been exposed to and cultivated since childhood. In terms of strength, they are naturally much better than ordinary people. It is not an exaggeration to say that this is a group of people who win at the starting point. Although it sounds unfair, the reality is like this, including Shirona, who is one of those people who win at the starting point. However, you cannot choose your birth, but you can control your destiny. Running fast at the starting point does not mean that you can always be ahead. It still depends on personal efforts and opportunities. Zumu, let me introduce you to a new friend. Shirona smiled and said after returning from the teleporter. Zumu was stunned to see her take out a new Pokeball and open it. Bang! A Lucario appeared. What is this? Zumu looked at Shirona. Lucario, a very rare Pokémon. Is this guy your Pokémon? Shirona nodded. He was born on the same day as me, and we have been together since we were young. He was training with his father some time ago, so he left me, but now he has completed the training and successfully returned to the team, Shirona said happily. Lucario also waved and greeted Zumu. Luca, hello, Zumu. Zumu smiled and replied, hello, Lucario. Luca, I heard Uncle Tuta mention you. You want to snatch Shirona from me? You're dreaming. As a male creature, Lucario naturally knew what Zumu was thinking. This guy is definitely an old LSP. He must have bad intentions when approaching Shirona. That's right, Zumu smiled frankly. I'm planning to take Shirona's body. Lucario, right? Come and fight if you don't agree. Chapter 38. What's your name, Dad? Lucario and Zumu looked at each other, and the eyes of the man and the elf met, and they were tit for tat in an instant, and the air was filled with a hint of gunpowder. Shirona didn't know the reason, and when she saw Lucario taking the initiative to greet Zumu, she thought that the first meeting between the two sides was very pleasant. Zumu, I'm going to participate first. Shirona smiled happily. Before, Zumu thought that she could only participate in the little God of War Cup through the back door. Now she wants to prove it to Zumu with her strength. This saint also relies on strength to get by. Come on. Zumu smiled with a sunny face to cheer Shirona up, and watched her go to the battle site. This Lucario is very strong. At the worst, his strength should be at the Pseudo-King level. With him, Shirona's game should not have any problems. Let's use Koga Ninja to quickly solve the battle later. Although Zumu didn't want to bully the weak in the novice village, he had no choice. His strength did not allow it, At this age, it is difficult for Zumu to find an opponent of similar strength. If he hadn't been accompanying Shirona, he wouldn't have bothered to come to this novice village that looked a little more advanced to fry fish. What kind of elf is this? Can I exchange or buy it from you? Zumu had nothing to do, so he called Arceus out and accompanied him to play in the preparation area for a while. Anyway, there is no legend of Arceus in this world. It is estimated that no one would have thought that this harmless-looking little guy is the legendary creator god. A girl walked up to Zumu. She was wearing a pink dress and an exquisite necklace. She was dressed very luxuriously and noble. Zumu shook his head. This thing is not for sale. It's a young lady, and she's pretty. Zumu looked at this elegant young lady, and quickly said to himself in his heart, "What are you thinking, bastard? You have Shirona. How can you still look at other young ladies?" "Forget it. Shirona is not here. I'll just take a look." Looking up, Zumu looked at the young lady who suddenly came. He had a good impression of this beautiful young lady. If she was willing to try and take the initiative, Zumu might not refuse. As a result, her next sentence directly persuaded Zumu to give up. "Why not sell it? I'm very rich." "You name a price. I think you, this cute little guy, are very compatible with me. It's his honor to be matched with this young lady." How can you, as the owner, not know the tact? Zumu smiled. This girl's brain must be problematic. Where did the second-year disease come from? "If you want to buy, I will sell it." "Who are you? I dare to ask if your family knows that you are so sick?" "Who are you? Are you sick? If you are sick, you can be cured." After Zumu finished speaking, he was ready to leave this arrogant girl in the late stage of the second-year disease. "What do you mean? Are you insulting me?" Who knew this girl was actually quite clear-headed. Although she didn't understand what Zumu said, she guessed that it was not a good thing. She stood next to Zumu aggressively and pointed at Zumu. She said loudly, "I am the youngest daughter of the Dongfeng Master. You must respect me, otherwise my father will kill you. This world is really small. Just killed the old one, and now the young one comes?" Looking at the youngest daughter of the Dongfeng Master who was terminally ill with pity, Zumu couldn't help but feel pity for her. "Your father? Please, let him kill me. You may not know that your father was defeated by me and was silenced by my father." "Sister, while I am still soft-hearted, please leave quickly." Zumu looked at the young lady with strange eyes, and was extremely speechless. "Chen Yang, this man bullied me. I wanted his elf, but he didn't sell it to me." Seeing Zumu looking at her with strange eyes, the girl panicked. She was worried that Zumu would be fascinated by her gorgeous face and try to do something wrong, and was crazy. Called for help. Zumu saw that she had found helpers, and was speechless. "You are smarter than your father and know how to find helpers, but what's the matter with you finding helpers from the novice village? You can pick any of the people here. If there is one who can hurt me, you win." "Who are you? What does your family do? And why are you bullying Zio?" The boy named Chen Yang came up and asked 3 questions in a row. "It's none of your business. Who are you, and what do you do?" Zumu was stunned at first, and then fought back decisively. "People in our world are honest and decent. They don't cause trouble, but they are not afraid of trouble. Since someone is looking for trouble, I can't tolerate it." 3 consecutive questions must be fought back with 3 consecutive questions. Not only did he fight back, Zumu also took the initiative to attack. "What are you looking at? Are you dissatisfied? Do you have any opinions?" Another set of 3 consecutive questions. Chen Yang was stunned. "Yes, I have an opinion." He was confused and only had time to answer Zumu's last question. Then Zumu smiled. "If you have any opinions, keep them. Okay, get out if you have nothing to do." Chen Yang stood there stupidly, almost turning around and leaving. "No, why should I listen to you?" After mumbling to himself, Chen Yang turned around and pointed at Zumu, saying, "What's your name? You dare to play tricks on me? Are you tired of living?" Zumu really didn't want to bother with this idiot. He is so stupid, but he still stands up for others. "Are you afraid that he will die too slowly?" "That's right, even if someone with a good brain can't stand up for the daughter of Master Dongfeng." "Forget it. You are also a contestant, so let's decide the winner in the competition." Zumu was too lazy to continue to argue. What sense of accomplishment would it have if he bullied a fool even if he won? "Count both of you in. If you meet me in a competition, The loser will kneel on the ground and call me daddy. What do you think? Chen Yang was overjoyed when he heard this, and hurriedly said, "Don't count Zio, it's enough for the two of us to bet." Zoomu didn't care. He looked at the pair of fools indifferently, and secretly sighed in his heart. It was a pity that this face was stupid. "Okay, then let's do it. Don't lose in advance. That would be embarrassing." Leaving this sentence, Zoomu no longer paid attention to the two of them, took out a large can of moo moo milk from his pocket, and fed Arceus to drink. "I won't lose. I am determined to win the first place in the Little Aries Cup this time. You wait and call me daddy." Chen Yang also made a harsh remark and left quickly with the daughter of the Dongfeng Reverend. Looking at his back, Zoomu suddenly shouted, "What to call?" Chen Yang was imagining that he would defeat Zoomu on the field and watch Zoomu kneeling on the ground and calling him daddy. As a result, after hearing Zoomu's sudden question, he subconsciously answered, "Dad." Zoomu was satisfied, and the certification was complete. He was indeed stupid. "Hey, you are so eager to admit defeat before the game even starts?" Zoomu looked at Chen Yang with a half-smile, which made Chen Yang blush and wish he could find a crack in the ground to crawl into. Chapter 39, Arceus, the Bully. After Chen Yang left, Chiron also finished the game and returned to the preparation area. Seeing her happy smile, Zoomu guessed the result of the game. However, he still pretended to be curious and asked. Chiron raised her head proudly and pinched her waist with both hands. "Of course, don't you see who I am?" Seeing her silly look, Zoomu couldn't help but laugh secretly. "Isn't this girl too cute?" Yes, you are Chirona. It is inevitable to win small preliminaries." With Chirona's boast, Zoomu heard the radio calling his name. "It's your turn. Go ahead, come on." Chirona seemed to be more anxious than Zoomu. After hearing the broadcast of the announcer, she hurriedly said. Zoomu nodded calmly, put on the appearance of a master, and strode steadily to the competition venue. "Let Koga Ninja go this time, and make a quick decision," Zoomu said, and wanted to take Arceus back into the Pokeball, but the little guy didn't want to. "Oh, I'll do it. I can fight, too, Dad." Arceus, eager to show off, forgot to use telepathy for a moment, and jumped up and down excitedly. Seeing this, Zoomu scratched his head helplessly. "Well, you can go, but be careful, and be gentle." "I know, Dad, don't worry." Seeing Zoomu agreed, Arceus happily bit Zoomu's trouser leg. The two sides in the battle. The red team's rookie trainer Zoomu. The Pokémon he uses is. Zoomu hurriedly said, "Arceus." The referee looked at Zoomu in confusion and continued. "The Pokémon he uses is Arceus." The blue team's rookie trainer Zhu. The Pokémon he uses is Boscadora. Both sides can use one Pokémon. The game begins. As soon as the referee finished speaking, Arceus rushed out like a flash of lightning and slammed into Boscadora. Seeing this, Zhu simply let Boscadora use hardening directly. Anyway, as a steel and rock-type elf, it would not be a big deal for Boscadora to withstand a collision. Including the referee, and the audience, all thought so at this time. Let this white and tender elf use collision to attack Boscadora. What is the difference between that and tickling? Zoomu didn't care. In his heart, he did secretly compare the players of this little God of War Cup with the National League he participated in before. Sure enough, this is a more advanced novice village. Each of them has evolved into the final form of elves. It seems that these guys should have been in contact with and nurtured their elves since childhood. Otherwise they would not be so obedient, and the relationship is really good. If it weren't for the cheap dad sending the Koga Ninja, Zoomu felt that he might not be the opponent of this group of second-generation ancestors just relying on the dog system. However, you are second-generation ancestors, and so am I. Zoomu, who is not a second generation, who are you looking down on? Bang! A loud bang. Arceus hit the armor of Boscadora, which was hardening, and cracked it. With a scream, Boscadora flew backwards and fainted on the ground. The red player wins. The referee was still very dedicated. Although he was shocked, he announced the result immediately. Zoomu also left the field in a chic manner under the stunned expression of the audience. It has been said that even if this group of second-generation rich are not weak, they are just a more advanced novice village. In Zoomu's eyes, They are all green, and the difference is nothing more than whether they are green or not. They are all abused. The preliminaries were carried out very quickly, with an average of 3 hours per round, and 3 rounds were carried out in one afternoon. It was not until 9 o'clock in the evening that the preliminaries were completely over, leaving the 16 strongest trainers to become the top 16 players of this competition and participate in the main competition tomorrow. The reason why the official setting is this is mainly because the players present are the children of big shots. Some of them are accompanied by their parents in person, so the preliminaries must be faster to avoid wasting the time of big shots. As for the problem of elves getting injured, there is no need to worry about it. The organizers of the Little God of War Cup have arranged the best medical team in the Alliance to ensure the safety of every second-generation elf. Zumu sent Arceus to compete in the 3 preliminary rounds. The little guy couldn't control his strength at the beginning and almost hit Boscadaro to death. As the next 2 games progressed, he was obviously able to control his body skillfully and keep his strength just enough to defeat the opponent with 1 blow. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the Arceus sign-in task. 1. Carry or use Arceus to participate in a battle in King Cheng. Reward a random stone tablet. Please keep up the good work and collect all the stone tablets for Arceus as soon as possible. Zumu accepted the encouragement of the system with a smile on his face. His immunity to the dog system is gradually increasing. You mock yours, I do mine. Arceus wants to play, so I'll let him play. As for your crappy task, haha, it doesn't matter. I still have 17 chances. 17 slabs of stone represent 17 tasks. You can slowly calculate, dog system. I don't believe you can calculate me 17 times at once. Ding. Reward Arceus with the Jade Insect Slab fused. Immunity to insect skills is improved, and the power is doubled when using insect skills. Zumu was silent on the spot. The best way to deal with a troll is to ignore him and then slap him in the face with action. Zumu muttered and cursed the system for a long time, but the system ignored him and directly rewarded the stone slab. The reward was not enough, and it directly helped Arceus fuse. Don't you want to be a trainer? Don't you want to become stronger? No problem. If you don't want yours, I'll do mine. Zumu felt the deep malice from the dog system, gritted his teeth and snorted in resentment. Arceus, how is it? Do you feel uncomfortable? Arceus is still young. Zumu will try his best to guide him and let him have a salted fish heart like himself. No, Dad, I feel my body is full of strength now. Is this the benefit of fighting that Greninja talked about? Arceus answered Zumu telepathically. Dad, I will fight in the future too. This feeling of being full of strength is so comfortable. Zumu opened his mouth and closed it again. It's over. This kid has gone astray. He is going further and further down the road of bullying and becoming stronger. With a sigh, Zumu felt tired. Why are my 3 Pokémon like this? You guys work so hard, but I am not a good for nothing. I really don't want to be a trainer. Does anyone believe it? Dog system, Zumu, will never coexist with you. Chapter 40. Kneel down and call daddy. After returning to the villa, Shirona went back to her room to take a shower, while Zumu prepared dinner for the elves, or it would be more appropriate to call it a midnight snack. Mash the vegetables, fruits and minced meat, add some vitamins, pour them into a mold, and put them in a microwave to dry. After making the midnight snack for the elves, Zumu went to the refrigerator and took out a bucket of ice cream. He also took some noodles. Tonight, he would cook noodles for Shirona. What are we going to eat tonight? I'm hungry, Shirona asked Zumu with a pout while wiping her blonde hair in a bathrobe. Zumu wanted to make a little joke to adjust the atmosphere, but when he turned around and saw Shirona, he was stunned. Damn, but he was uneducated and couldn't find a better word to describe it. Good breasts, good legs, so white. Zumu's brain almost crashed. Zumu, who had been single for many years, had ever seen such a stunning beauty coming out of the bath. A living young lady. Fuck, fuck, fuck. Zumu instantly forgot what he was going to say, and all he could think about was fuck. What do you want to eat? Wait, I'll give you something to eat. Forcing himself to calm down, Zumu quickly turned around to ease the embarrassment at the moment. Smelling the fragrance in the air, Zumu forced himself to leave here and walked towards the kitchen. He couldn't stay any longer. If he continued like this, something would definitely happen. Zoomu quickly fled the scene, constantly comforting himself in his heart to calm himself down. After he calmed down, Zoomu suddenly reacted. Fuck, that's not right. Just something happened. But it seems to be okay. Aren't I just looking forward to something happening? Why am I still running? Zoomu wanted to slap himself in the face. Damn it. You're always yelling. Why are you running when you really meet me? Trash. Putting the noodles in boiling water, Zoomu took a deep breath, left the kitchen, and secretly looked at Shirone, who was eating ice cream as an appetizer. Fuck, so beautiful. Any fancy words are useless at this moment. Beauty is over. Is the noodles ready? Shirone asked when she found Zoomu staring at her infatuatedly from a distance. She was indeed hungry. Although ice cream was sweet, it was not good for hunger. No, soon. Zoomu quickly retracted his head and kept stroking his beating heart. Why is the heart rate so irregular? Not long after, Zoomu made the noodles and served a big bowl to himself and Shirone. Then he stared at Shirone eating noodles infatuatedly. At night, Zoomu lay in his room and looked out the window at the starry sky outside. This world is so beautiful, with flowers, grass, elves, birds, trees and girls. If there is no dog system, it would be great. Thinking happily about the beautiful future of himself and Shirone, Zoomu slowly fell asleep. The next day, the two came to the arena, and Zoomu also met his opponent today. Chen Yang, good guy, you are really unlucky. You met me so soon? Zoomu thought in surprise, and felt a little sympathetic to Chen Yang. This child is really not easy, stupid, and also unlucky. It is said that stupid people have good luck. What is this? Evil people will be punished by God. Who is your opponent? After looking at her opponent, Shirone approached Zoomu and asked. Zoomu subconsciously answered, my son. Shirone was stunned. Isn't your son him? Pointing to Arceus, who was playing by herself, Shirone was very confused. Your son is not here. How can he be your opponent? Zoomu smiled. Why is this girl so silly when she is not fighting? Very cute. Yes, he is our son. Zoomu took advantage of it nakedly, but Shirone didn't hear it and nodded. Yes, he is the first little guy who called me mom. Zoomu heard it and thought to himself, there will be a second and a third one in the future. After being with Shirone for a while, Zoomu got up and went to the preparation area. Today he and Chen Yang are the first group. As the opening group, Zoomu decided to make this game more exciting and give everyone a good start. Although the Little Aries Cup is a competition for the minority second generation, many people are also paying attention to it. In addition to the local people in Qingcheng, there are also big guys participating in the competition, as well as some people who have a close relationship with the big guys. After hearing the broadcast, Zoomu went to the venue and saw a dark crowd of spectators. Although he was just a nobody, the audience still cheered for him enthusiastically. To put it bluntly, how would the audience know which player was which? It was nothing more than joining in the fun and shouting along with the DJ. Chen Yang also arrived and stood opposite Zoomu. According to the regulations, the two had to shake hands to show friendship first. Zoomu stepped forward and smiled sunny. Good son, you have to work hard later. Chen Yang glared at Zoomu fiercely and snorted coldly. You will know who is the father and who is the son in a while. Zoomu pretended to be surprised when he heard this. What do you mean? Who is the father and who is the son? Chen Yang didn't know it was a trap. Seeing Zoomu's confusion, he immediately raised his head proudly. He pointed his nose at Zoomu and said loudly, of course he is my father and your son. Good guy. The referee on the side was shocked. Are the young people nowadays so open? Before the game even started, he recognized his grandfather. Recognizing your father as your father? This is a show. Zoomu suppressed his smile and continued, no need, I will just be your father. It's too tiring to be your grandfather. I have to take care of you and your father at the same time. After speaking, Zoomu turned around and left. He came to his position and released the Greninja. On the other side, Chen Yang was still mumbling. He didn't understand what Zoomu meant. What the hell? How come you are my grandfather? My father your son? My father. Your son. Fuck. After thinking about it for a few times, Chen Yang suddenly came to his senses. Looking at Zoomu, who had already walked away, He was so angry that his teeth were itching. This bastard, he is playing tricks on me again. It's useless to talk, let's speak with strength. After thinking of a passionate line to regain his momentum, Chen Yang shouted. Zoom Yu looked at Chen Yang with disdain. It's useless to talk? You are still too young. After that, he signaled to the referee that he was ready. The referee looked at Zoom Yu and Chen Yang with a frown on his face and closed his eyes helplessly. Forget it. I'm just a referee. I can't afford to offend any of these players. I'd better pretend that I didn't hear it. Chen Yang on the blue side, Zoom Yu on the red side. Both sides can use 2 Ls. The game begins. The referee waved down 2 small flags. This battle to recognize the father is about to begin. Will Chen Yang kneel down and call him dad? Or will Chen Yang kneel down and call him dad? Stay tuned. Chapter 41. The happiness of the rich. No matter what family Chen Yang came from, no matter what kind of genius he was, as long as he was not a time traveler, it was 100% certain that he would be defeated by Zoom Yu. It was not a big problem for Greninja to fight too. Zoom Yu was simply not a human being to let a mid-level elf play in the novice village. Both elves of Chen Yang on the blue side lost their combat capabilities, so Zoom Yu on the red side won. After the referee announced the result of the game, Chen Yang's face was full of despair. He still couldn't believe that he would lose so quickly, just like a baby being pressed to the ground and hammered by a giant, with no power to fight back. Impossible. How could you be so strong? Chen Yang muttered to himself, while the referee secretly looked at Zoom Yu. Greninja at the level of the king. Whose son is this? How come I have never heard of Zoom Yu? Could he be a rising star from a hidden family? He was secretly shocked in his heart, but on the surface the referee did not show any emotion. Everyone present was a big shot, and he, a small referee, could not afford to offend anyone, so he had better keep quiet. My son, shouldn't you kneel down and call me father? Zoom Yu put his hands on his waist and looked at Chen Yang, who looked decadent, with amusement. There must be something hateful about pitiful people. Chen Yang pretended to be so pitiful now, but he was not like this when he was aggressively trying to get ahead. Zoom Yu didn't have much compassion, and such people should be taught a lesson. Although talking to him was a waste of life, Zoom Yu thought that he was tough and lived a long life, so it didn't matter if he wasted a little. I won't lose. I'm a genius. How could my Snorlax and I lose? You must be cheating. This Greninja is not your Pokémon. In order to avoid the bet of kneeling down, Chen Yang thought of a way that was not a way. He started to slander Zoom Yu as soon as he opened his mouth, saying that he was playing a fake game. Zoom Yu didn't expect that this kid was so cute, and it was rare to be so shameless. But, it's okay if you are shameless. But why don't you have a brain? Spreading his hands, Zoom Yu was speechless and turned away. There was no need for him to stay. Chen Yang was so angry that he even said that Zoom Yu had played a fake match. He was challenging the authority of the organizer of the Little God of War Cup. Zoom Yu had a rough idea of Chen Yang's information. He was the descendant of a gym owner and was considered the bottom of the second-generation circle. Fortunately, his Snorlax was quite strong, so he stood out among the group of lickers of the daughter of the Dongfeng master with some skills. He became the best licker, the Licker King. Chen Yang had no background, and his patron, the Dongfeng master, had been executed. Now he made wild remarks and provoked the organizer. The organizer couldn't do anything to him. He framed his opponent and spread rumors to provoke the organizer. He was just banned from participating in any formal competitions. TSK. Thinking that Chen Yang had blocked all his roads, Zoom Yu couldn't help but smack his lips. He was stupid and talked a lot. There was no hope for him. Fortunately, I walked fast. Otherwise if he called me dad, wouldn't I be implicated? That wouldn't work. I was smart. Chen Yang fought with me. Zoom Yu, too young. Humming a little tune, Zoom Yu came to Sirona. Sirona asked with a smile when she saw Zoom Yu coming out happily. After snapping his fingers, Zoom Yu nodded calmly. Of course. Sirona congratulated her, and then stood in front of the ice cream stand, continuing to struggle. You have difficulty making choices at such a young age. Seeing that she was struggling for a long time and didn't know which flavor of ice cream to eat, Zoom Yu simply came to the stand. Boss, one flavor each. After Zoom Yu finished speaking, He gave Sirona a look. It's obvious that having money means you can do whatever you want. Why do you want to let choices limit your happiness? By all, isn't it delicious? After Zumu finished speaking, he took over several ice creams of different flavors and held them in his arms. Sirona's eyes lit up instantly. Delicious. Nodding vigorously, Sirona picked up a box and was about to start. Just take 2 bites of each. Otherwise you won't be able to eat so many flavors. Zumaha was inhumane and directly signaled to Sirona to take a bite and throw away a box. This is the joy of being rich. As a rich man, an excellent second generation, you have to learn to enjoy it. Young man, Sirona was stunned by what Zumu said. Can ice cream be eaten like this? Buy one of the same flavor, taste it, and throw it away if it doesn't taste good. Eat more if it tastes good, and then throw it away? This is too wasteful. Not good, right? Sirona hesitated. Zumu's suggestion sounded very good, but the education she received since childhood told Sirona that it seemed wrong to do so. Seeing that Sirona was a little embarrassed, Zumu reached out and gently pinched her melon seed face. Silly, what's wrong with that? What if you have a stomachache after eating all of it? Think about it. If you have a stomachache, you can't have dinner, and then I can't eat dinner by myself, so there will be more left. Isn't it more wasteful? Besides, you definitely can't eat so much ice cream, so it's better to eat every flavor before throwing it away. Under Zumu's twisted logic, Sirona was finally convinced. Opening the strawberry-flavored ice cream, Sirona scooped a piece with a small spoon and put it in her mouth. Delicious. Seeing that Sirona liked it, Zumu smiled and said, then give him a chance. Take another bite, and then try another flavor. Sirona nodded, scooped another piece into her mouth, and opened another box of ice cream. This one is delicious too. Zumu slapped his forehead. You probably like them all. Forget it. Forget it. It's up to you. Eat whatever you want. Who told you to be Sirona? Who made you look so beautiful? I'll spoil you. If I keep pampering her, she will be mine. Ha 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 ha. Bang. Sirona's pokeball popped up automatically, and Lucario suddenly appeared. He used his body to separate Zumu and Sirona, and then looked at Zumu very seriously. Lu, I feel a wave of ill intentions. Are you planning to take advantage of Sirona again? Zumu was startled by Lucario, and quickly retracted his wild thoughts. Why did you come out? Do you want to eat ice cream too? Taking out a box of ice cream, Zumu instantly put on a sunny smile and handed the ice cream to Lucario. Lucario didn't accept it. This was bought by his rival, and he was not a Pokémon who would bow down for a bite of ice cream. Luca, no matter how bright your smile is, it's useless. I won't allow you to bully Sirona. With a wave of his hand, Lucario made his position clear. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42. Arranging Lucario. Zumu was not panicked when he saw Lucario reject him. He slowly opened the ice cream, then he scooped out a piece with a small spoon, passed over Lucario's head, and put the small spoon next to Sirona's mouth. Try this pineapple flavor, you should like it. Sirona didn't care about this seemingly intimate feeding action. She held a small spoon in her mouth and rolled the pineapple-flavored ice cream into her mouth with her small tongue. Well, delicious, Zumu thought to himself. Of course, in your eyes, all ice cream tastes good. Taking back the small spoon, Zumu scooped out a piece himself and put it in his mouth in front of Lucario. It's really delicious. After eating, Zumu deliberately sighed. In an instant, Lucario's eyes were red with anger. Luca, you bastard, you made such an intimate move with Sirona on my head in front of me, and you used a spoon. I can't stand it, Zumu, you're too much. You're bullying the dog too much. With a roar, Lucario refused to do it. He grabbed Sirona's arm with one hand and pointed to his mouth with the other hand. I want to eat it too. Sirona was a little surprised to see Lucario want to eat ice cream. You didn't like it before. Why do you want to eat it today? Although she was puzzled, Sirona still dug a piece and was about to feed it to Lucario. Lucario was very satisfied and looked at Zumu with provocative eyes. See, Shyarona still loves me. You guys should know what's good for you and get out of here quickly. Don't bother my Shyarona. The ice cream in Shyarona's hand was about to touch Lucario's mouth. Lucario had closed his eyes in anticipation. Zumu smiled. Wait a minute, Shyarona. This is a special ice cream for Pokémons. I'll feed Lucario this. He is a steel Pokémon. If he eats normal ice cream, he might get a stomachache. Zumu's words made sense, and Shyarona was directly convinced. Well, thank you. After saying that, Shyarona continued to eat ice cream, completing the arduous task of eating 2 bites and throwing a box. Lucario opened his eyes in astonishment, and then looked at Zumu in shock. Luca, Zumu, you are too much. Zumu sneered. A little elf still wants to compete with me for favor. It's too young. Come on, try this ice cream. It's a special elf. Come, Lucario, I'll feed you. Zumu said, pretending to be enthusiastic and moving forward, pretending to really feed it. Luca, asshole. Lucario let out a light cry and fled directly back to the elf ball. Zumu is a devil, a smiling devil, who specifically fights against elves. After Zumu won the 16-8 game, he quickly won the 8-4 in semifinals. In the past few days, he has also used various means, with a smile on his face, to target Lucario in various ways. In the final of the Little God of War Cup, Zumu and Shyarona finally met. Relying on her Lucario, Shyarona was invincible and won all the way to the end. To be honest, this was something Zumu didn't expect at first. This Lucario was so strong. Zumu, you have to go all out in the game later, and you can't let me. Before going on stage, Shyarona made a serious battle declaration to Zumu. I want to fight you fair and square once. Zumu smiled helplessly. Okay, I'll do whatever you want. I'll fight you seriously. Shyarona was satisfied and trotted all the way to the player channel. Come on. Zumu looked at Shyarona's back as she trotted away, and a faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Greninja, Lucario, that guy. I've wanted to teach him a lesson for a long time. Here comes the chance. Zumu, who was vindictive, held the Pokeball of Greninja, and finally showed his true colors. A Pokemon wants to be my rival in love. You don't deserve it. The little tricks I used before were just appetizers. This time I'm going to teach you a lesson. Don't always think that God is the boss and you are the second. Zumu said secretly in his heart, and he also walked to the battlefield. The next ones to fight are our 2 super newcomers in the past few days. First is the red team's Shyarona. I believe everyone is familiar with her. This golden-haired girl fights like a cold-blooded killer. She defeated all opponents with only one Lucario from beginning to end. In this final, we have endless expectations for her. Can Shyarona continue her invincible legend? Let's wait and see. The commentator's voice was loud, and he introduced Shyarona very enthusiastically. Seeing his excitement, Zumu was a little worried that this guy would fall off the commentary desk. Then it's our blue team's Zumu. After winning the National Middle School League, Zumu from Fengcheng came to our Little Aries Cup. Here he used a new type of Pokemon called Arceus, and his initial Pokemon, Greninja. Having also fought his way through all the levels to reach the finals, can Zumu keep his glory as a champion and defeat Shyarona to win the first place in the Little Aries Cup? We wait and see. The flashy commentator finally finished. The referee glanced at the chattering commentator speechlessly, and said, Red team's Shyarona, blue team's Zumu, can use 2 Pokemon. The game begins. Swish. With the waving of 2 small flags, the game officially began. Lucario pressed his hands, making a crackling sound. He looked at Zumu and Greninja with a half-smile. Zumu, today I want to let you know the gap between you and Shyarona. This is a woman you will never be able to reach in your lifetime. With a loud roar, Lucario made some harsh words. Zumu didn't understand, but Greninja did. Seeing Lucario so arrogant, Greninja couldn't stand it. Cool. The master humiliated the minister and he died. Today I will teach you a lesson, you arrogant boy, so that you know how to be low-key. Greninja is also a ruthless person. He has been with Zumu for so long, and he hasn't learned anything else. But he knows everything about scolding people. Cool. Cool, come on, let me see your strength. What supports you to be so confident even though you are so ugly? Go all out, young man. Let me see if you are qualified to lick my toe. Lucario has been suppressed by Zumu these days, and he has been angry for a long time. He was originally emotionally unstable, and this time he was really angry with Greninja. Zumu is a villain, and his elves are so shameless. Chapter 43 Mega Lucario. Zumu, I'll attack first. Ms. Sirona is still very fierce once she enters the fighting state. After seeing that Greninja and Lucario exchanged a few words, Lucario was furious, and she knew that her Pokémon must have suffered a loss in the part of speaking harshly, as expected of Greninja. Being able to confront a master-level strongman head-on, it is not only about strength, but also about the mentality. Of course, although she admired her opponent in her heart, Sirona was merciless in her words. Lucario, Wave Missile. No hesitation, Wave Missile first. Whether it is a mule or a horse, take it out for a walk. Lucario shouted, and a Wave Missile quickly formed in his hand, and then blasted towards Greninja. Zumu looked at the aggressive Lucario and said calmly, Spiral Water Shuriken, knock that ball down for me. Cool, no big deal. Greninja casually threw out a huge Water Shuriken, which carried the rotating energy of the Razgan, and was terrifyingly powerful. Boom. Sure enough, after the collision of the special moves, the Water Shuriken directly knocked the Wave Missile away. Then it went towards Lucario with its remaining power. But the Wave Missile also played a role. The collision just now caused the Water Shuriken to deviate from its original trajectory, and this attack was quickly dodged by Lucario. As expected of Greninja, this strength is really strong, Sirona exclaimed, and continued, Lucario, we have to work hard to use bodybuilding. Seeing that Zumu did not attack strongly, Sirona took the opportunity to let the enhanced Lucario strengthen himself. Lucario received the order and took action immediately. He was seen waving his arms continuously, showing his muscles perfectly, and at the same time mobilizing more strength to enhance his attack. Strengthen? Self-motivation. Zumu was still very calm. Even when fighting with Sirona, Zumu had absolute confidence. In terms of command, Zumu has never been afraid of anyone again. Cool. Seeing Lucario strengthen himself, Greninja was not far behind and used self-motivation. Comet Punch. Lucario's bodybuilding was completed first, and Sirona directly ordered an attack. While Greninja's self-motivation was not over, however, when Lucario's fist hit Greninja, poof, Greninja turned into a ball of air. When? I didn't even know. Sirona looked at every corner of the venue in shock, searching for Greninja's figure. This is fake. Be careful, Lucario. Lucario didn't expect that Greninja would use Shadow Clone without knowing it, and he, as an opponent, didn't even notice it. Cool, young man, why don't you go home and farm? Pokémon battles are too dangerous. Greninja suddenly appeared above Lucario's head, spewing trash talk, and a frozen fist in his hand. Bang! The punch that fell from the sky hit him. Lucario was hit in the face by a punch and flew backwards. Cool. I told you, it's too dangerous, not suitable for a baby like you. Greninja didn't stop at hitting people, and kept talking trash, attacking Lucario's psychological defense again and again. Unable to bear it any longer, Lucario roared, got up from the ground, turned his head to look at Sirona, and raised his arm. Sirona murmured, are you going to use this power so soon? Well, let me see how effective your training with your father is, and whether you can really master that kind of power. As she said that, Sirona also raised her arm. On her wrist, an exquisite bracelet was releasing a magical halo. If you look closely, you will find that it is not the bracelet that emits the halo, but the keystone on the bracelet. Lucario, Mega Evolution. Sirona and Lucario spoke at the same time, and the moment the light of the keystone touched the light of Lucario's evolution stone, Lucario's figure began to change. Red gradually appeared on the surface of his skin, and Lucario's eyes became sharp. Come on, frog, let's fight again. The evolved Lucario is indeed handsome, and Zumu has to admit that the current Mega Lucario is indeed good-looking. As for strength, I'm afraid it's just so-so. Greninja, let's transform too. With the idea of beating Lucario to the point of being convinced, Zoomu decided to kill him and destroy his heart. Transformation and evolution. We also have it. Greninja nodded, and a shining light also burst out from his body. Then bond transformation. Originally, Lucario felt that his energy was bursting, and his desire to fight was unprecedentedly high. He just thought he could pin this frog to the ground and hammer him. As a result, he could also transform. What's going on? Ahem. Greninja, do the rest yourself. You know my requirements. Zoomu said secretly, indicating that Greninja could start working. After dragging on for so long, this Lucario should have shown all his strength now. It's time to blow his arrogance into bubbles. Cool, don't worry, little master. I know how to deal with this little guy who refuses to obey. I promise that this guy will be obedient when he sees the little master in the future. After saying that, Greninja directly performed the shadow clone technique and summoned dozens of clones in an instant. These clones are not shadows, they are all entities that can fight. Although Shyarona knew this, she heard a sound of melee before she could remind him, but the smoke was too thick, and she couldn't see what was happening inside. The 4 Greninjas grabbed Lucario's limbs respectively. The rest of the Greninjas used Lucario as a target and threw water shuriken at him crazily. This water shuriken was not spiral-shaped, so the power was not great, but it was just enough to make Lucario feel pain. As for the real body of Greninja, it appeared behind Lucario. Cool. Mega evolved? Is it very strong? Is it useful? Forget it. Don't embarrass yourself with your strength. Go home and find a female elf to marry and farm. Look, you can't hit me even when I'm standing behind you. Is that uncomfortable? Greninja said, kicking Lucario on the butt. Look, there's something that will make you even more uncomfortable. I'm telling you, kid, you have to respect my little master when you see him in the future. Understand? Otherwise, I'll beat you up every time I see you. Greninja was like a school bully at this time, blocking Lucario in a small alley and threatening him. Luca, impossible. Even if you beat me to death, I will never let him cheat Sirona away. Chapter 44 I will never defeat you. Lucario tried his best to break free, but he was outnumbered. In addition, Greninja had already released a lot of smoke outside, so no one knew that there was such a cruel scene in the smoke. Cool. It seems that you will not give in unless I give you something cruel. Greninja looked down at Lucario being tortured by his clones, but he was still stubborn. He was immediately displeased. Lucario gritted his teeth, endured the pain in his body, and said nothing. Cool. Tell me, if I blow away the smoke on the field and let Shyarona see you in such an embarrassing scene, will she feel distressed? Killing people and destroying their hearts, shrimp and pig hearts. Greninja has completely become Zoomu. As soon as these words came out, Lucario was stunned on the spot. Luca, you dare? Greninja nodded. I dare. A spiral water shuriken condensed in his hand, letting the water shuriken rotate in his hand, slowly blowing away the smoke on the field. Seeing the smoke getting thinner and thinner, his embarrassing side was about to be seen by Sirona. Lucario finally panicked. Luca, no, don't blow away the smoke. Cool. Look, young people nowadays always cry until they see the coffin. Remember today's lesson in the future. When you are not strong enough, just be a Pokémon with your tail between your legs. Don't be too arrogant. Talk to my little master with respect. Greninja looked like a big brother in society and hit Lucario. Lucario felt bitter. He didn't dare to say it. It's too hard for children. The world outside is too dangerous. I want to go home. Burying the grievance in his heart, Lucario closed his eyes and chose to pretend to faint. When the smoke dissipated, Lucario had exited the mega state and was lying on the ground with his eyes closed. Sirona lost inexplicably. She felt that this was the battle in which she had the least sense of participation. As a trainer, he couldn't provide any help to the Pokémon. It was really a dereliction of duty. With a self-deprecating smile, Shyarona was ready to admit defeat. She only had one Lucario in her hand to participate in the battle, and the round-length shark was too young to be suitable for the battle. I admit defeat. Zoomu calmly crossed the battlefield and raised his hand to walk towards Shyarona. What? Zoomu chose to admit defeat after winning the first game. Why? Is Zoomu's Pokémon also seriously injured? No, that's not right. Everyone, look, Zumu is crossing our battlefield, and he walked in front of Shirona. The commentator was like a monkey, chattering and fussing non-stop. Oh my god, what did I say? Zumu actually took the Pokeball from Shirona's hand and put Lucario back into the Pokeball, and then they held hands. Under the background of the commentator, the audience was also boiling. We thought this was a wonderful battle, but you tell me, this is a wave of wonderful dog food? What's going on? Isn't Miss Sirona the saint of Western Europe? Who is this guy? Check his identity for me. Damn it, what is the background of this Zumu? He can defeat the saint and dare to hold the saint's hand. Is this boy tired of living? There are quite a few people who know Sirona's identity. These people looked at Zumu in shock at this moment, and were extremely curious about Zumu's identity for a while. However, Uncle Tatu, Sirona's exclusive driver, was calm at this moment. What's wrong with holding hands? What's the big deal? Seeing that you are all useless, can't our Western European saints fall in love freely? You have to know the background of the young man. Why can't civilians be with our saints? Well, I really can't. Uncle Tatu didn't know much. He just knew one thing, that is, Sirona's father called in person after the accident in Chimpan's secret realm. No one needs to ask about Zumu's affairs. Let Sirona handle it herself. If necessary, you can match them up. Being held by Zumu's hand in public, Shirona blushed no matter how slow she was. I admit defeat. You are the champion of the Little Aries Cup this time. Zumu smiled gently, his eyes full of doting. Zumu took the initiative to admit defeat and let Shirona win the championship. The little girl was a little unhappy. She pouted and said sullenly, "But, you can obviously win." Zumu saw her struggling with this question and laughed immediately. "I will never win you, because I can't bear it." After that, regardless of what Shirona thought, he took her hand and left the stage. The final was over. At the award ceremony, Shirona did not come, and Zumu accepted the award on her behalf. The little girl still couldn't get rid of her face and felt that this championship was not worthy of the title. Back at the villa, Zumu looked at the championship trophy of the Little God of War Cup and muttered, "This advanced novice village is different from the novice village. My trophy is not as heavy as this one. TSK. Rich people are different." Seeing Zumu was bored, Shirona took the initiative to come up. "Can I ask you a question?" Zumu nodded. "Of course, go ahead." Shirona reorganized her words and asked, "You said you were reluctant to beat me. Why?" Zumu almost choked on his saliva. "It's been a long time since it happened. Why do you just remember to ask?" "Because you are cute," Zumu replied to Shirona without thinking, and hurried back to the room. After returning to the room, Zumu finally reacted. "No, why am I running? I should have taken action with such a good opportunity just now. Isn't this the prelude to confession? Why am I running? Am I a fool?" Zumu regretted it as soon as he returned to the house. Perhaps hearing the call of Zumu's annoyance, Shirona actually came to knock on the door. Dong dong dong. "What's wrong?" Hearing Shirona knocking on the door, Zumu flipped over from the bed. When he opened the door, he saw Shirona standing shyly at the door. Zumu's heart was about to melt. Is this Sister Shirona coming to her senses and wanting to push me? She doesn't seem to be 18 years old yet. Should I half push and half accept, or just give in to her? That, Zumu. Shirona lowered her head, and it was obvious that she was a little embarrassed. "Tell me, what's wrong?" Zumu pretended to be calm. Who knew Shirona's next sentence would make Zumu panic? "My father will be here soon. He said he wants to see you. If it's suitable, then give it to me." Shirona spoke intermittently, and Zumu didn't hear the content behind it, but just the first words were enough to make Zumu feel scared. Chapter 45 Zumu vs. Future Father-in-Law. Zumu was panicking. How could he not panic? He hooked up with someone's daughter who was not even 18 years old to live together and travel together. Although he didn't do anything, it would be bad to say it out loud. Now the person's father came to the door in person. How could Zumu not panic? Besides, who is Shirona's father? The chief of Western Europe, a top figure who controls half of the human territory. How could Zumu not panic? Are you serious? Zumu swallowed his saliva and asked a little unbelievably. Seeing Zumu still asking, Chirona's already blushing face became even redder. "Well, you should get ready quickly. Your father will be here in a few minutes." After that, Chirona trotted all the way and disappeared from Zumu's sight. Zumu didn't know why Chirona ran so fast, but he was also in a difficult situation now. He had to meet his parents if he didn't agree with them. Who could stand this? "Forget it. As long as you are thick-skinned, you can have meat for 3 meals. Zumu shook his head and stopped thinking about it. What else can he do? Soon, a middle-aged man entered the villa under the guidance of Chirona. This man had blonde hair, just like Chirona. His hooked nose showed no arrogance on his face, but a unique majesty. "Hello, Zumu. I am Chirona's father." "Hello, Chief Kyle." Zumu had just changed into a more formal suit and retidied his hair, which made him look more handsome now. Shaking hands and greeting in a proper manner. "Did Chirona tell you the purpose of my visit this time?" Zumu was stunned. "What is your purpose? Aren't you here to call for an accusation? I kidnapped your daughter. Shouldn't you come to fight me?" "Yeah." Zumu nodded with a stiff face, and he didn't know what Kyle was going to say next, so he could only hold on. "Okay, let's go to the yard. If you can beat me in the battle, then I will agree to your engagement with Chirona," Kyle said, and turned and walked out of the villa, leaving behind Chirona with a blushing face and Zumu who was stunned on the spot. "So, your father is here to test me. He wants to betroth us?" Zumu was dumbfounded. No wonder Chirona was so shy just now. For this cute girl, it was not easy for her to have the courage to stand in front of Zumu just now. Chirona nodded, and then still trotted away, leaving Zumu puzzled. "What's going on? Am I arranged like this? Has my identity as the second generation of the Super and the Child of Destiny been discovered?" Zumu looked around blankly. "Forget it. Let's fight." "Isn't he just a chief? I will defeat him at the risk of my life." For a happy life in the future, Zumu decided to be ruthless to himself and have a good fight with Chirona's father. When he came to the yard, Kyle had been waiting for a long time. Seeing Zumu, he smiled slightly. "Come on, you have 3 elves, right? How about 2 on 2? Zumu said he had no objection. Arceus is still young now, although he is very strong. He may not be able to adapt to this level of battle. Go. Metagross. Nothing fancy. Kyle directly released his own team of Pokémon, Metagross. This is a Pokémon in the late stage of the leader, and it is only 1 step away from the peak. Metagross roared after appearing, exuding a strong and terrifying pressure. This is the fighting aura that only Pokémon at the leader level can comprehend. Only by comprehending this attribute can the Pokémon be considered to have officially stepped into the threshold of the leader. Knowing that Zumu didn't understand these, Kyle explained very carefully. Zumu nodded, thanked with his eyes, and his eyes began to become solemn. This father of Chirona is not polite at all, directly using the main force. Isn't this bullying? I'm a rookie trainer, you give me all your strength. Greninja, it's up to you. Cool, I am Greninja, willing to go through fire and water for the Zoo family for generations, and I will do anything, knowing that there will be a big battle. Greninja shouted the slogan directly after appearing. Kyle heard Greninja's words, and a smile rose at the corner of his mouth. Is this the little guy who came back from the border? He's really energetic. After praising, Kyle's eyes became calm. He was going to be serious. Greninja, Bond Transformation, Megalodon, Mega Evolution. Almost at the same time, both elves began to change. Metagross, which was originally in the late stage of the leader, has directly reached the peak level of the leader after the transformation. The 4 huge metal arms made Greninja feel endless pressure. So terrifying. Don't be afraid, Greninja. Spiral Water Shuriken. Zumu used a special move right from the start, and directly let Greninja release the Spiral Water Shuriken to create time for the next Shadow Clone technique. Block it with telekinesis, and then Comment Punch. The Water Shuriken with powerful rotation force was suddenly wrapped by an invisible barrier and could no longer move forward. Then, the 4 giant hands of Metagross waved together and attacked Zumu from a distance. Boom. Caught off guard, Greninja was directly knocked away. Greninja. Zumu ran over worriedly and saw that Greninja had not fainted completely and was trying to stand up. Don't force yourself. We are still young. This is just a battle. Zumu stepped forward and grabbed him, helped him stand up from the ground, and comforted him softly. "Believe me, I will make you stronger in the future. This failure will be an experience." Zumu's voice was extremely calm. Greninja quickly recovered, looked at Metagross unwillingly, and sighed. "Cool, I will definitely become stronger. Next time, I will defeat him." Set Metagross and the Headmaster stage as his goals. Greninja clenched his fists to cheer himself up. Seeing that this guy had a good mentality, Zumu asked him to sit aside and summon Charizard. Charizard, Mega Evolution, Charizard X. After the Charizard of the early stage of the King of Heavens Mega evolved, because of the blessing of the Candle Dragon bloodline, its strength was directly improved to the late stage of the King of Heavens. However, this was still not enough in the eyes of Metagross and Gale. Too weak. Blue Lotus Earth Core Fire, Spray Flame. Zumu roared, and attacked with Charizard with powerful momentum. Roar. Charizard X roared, and a blue flame sprayed out, fierce momentum. However, Kyle didn't even give any orders, and Metagross also used telekinesis to block the sprayed flame. Comet Fist. Bang. A heavy punch. Charizard didn't have a chance to dodge, not even a chance to use protection. It was killed instantly by Metagross, and blasted away. Zumu, you lose. It seems that I can't let Sharona get engaged to you now. Chapter 46, Dog System. Zumu was stunned. It seems that he has never lost since he came to this world. This time, he was suddenly facing a top-level strongman like Kyle, and was defeated by two people in a row. He himself was a little confused. Zumu could persuade Greninja not to worry, saying that we are still young, but he could not lie to himself. Losing is losing, and being unhappy is being unhappy. How could Zumu be convinced when he lost to someone who was more than 20 years older than him? But there was no way. This person was Sharona's father. Even if he was unhappy, Zumu could only swallow his anger. "Well, I lost." He didn't say anything about giving me a few more years, nor did he say anything big about not bullying the poor young man. Losing is losing, although he was very unconvinced. "Well, you have the temperament of your father." Kyle saw that the unwillingness in Zumu's eyes only flashed for a moment, and then he frankly admitted defeat, and he smiled. "I don't know how you are cursing me in your heart now. I am bullying the weak. I will use all my strength against you, a newcomer. Ha ha ha. No need to deny it. I know what you are thinking. You are the same as your father." Zumu was a little surprised. "You know my father? Damn. I thought, you are all old monsters. You come to bully me, a newcomer. How shameless." "Ha, it turns out that you are my father's friend, so we are acquaintances, right, Uncle Kyle?" If you can't beat them, just admit defeat. This is the smartest way. Even smarter than this is to recognize relatives. If you can't beat them, join them. Good boy. You are so slick. Kyle looked at Zumu speechlessly. This boy and his father are carved out of the same mold. Very cunning. Looking at his own girl Sharona, Kyle suddenly felt a little worried. What if? Forget it. Let it go. Your father and I have already engaged you in Sharona, so I didn't stop you from being together these days. As soon as Kyle opened his mouth, it was a big melon. Zumu's eyes widened. He first looked at Kyle. Seeing that he was not joking, he looked at Sharona. The little girl lowered her head and said nothing. "Are you my father's comrade in arms?" Zumu realized what his cheap father had said before, that he was engaged to him. He felt that Sharona was his fiancée. Yes. Kyle did not deny it. He looked at Zumu and continued, "But I feel that you are unreliable. So I need to set a test. This marriage is arranged in advance until you are 20 years old. If you have not defeated my strength before then, I am sorry. I will not agree to Sharona being with you. Don't think about kidnapping Sharona behind my back. If you dare to do this, I will beat your father first and then you." Kyle glared fiercely and instantly saw Zumu's evil thoughts. Then he thought about it and calmed down. "If you can defeat me before you are 20, I won't stop you from being together." Zumu nodded. "This is fine. He is only 16 this year. How can he not beat an old man in 4 years? After all, we have a system." "Wait, become stronger? Damn, the conspiracy of the dog system succeeded again." Cursing the dog system secretly, Zumu said to Kyle, "So, you are here to take Sharona away?" When he asked this, Sharona also looked up at Kyle. Although she has not been with Zumu for a long time, She still has a good impression of Zumuyu. When she first knew that she was Zumuyu's fiancé, Shirono asked herself, if she is with Zumuyu, can she accept it? It seems yes. So, Shirono still doesn't want to be separated from Zumuyu now. Seeing that his daughter was looking at him expectantly, Kyle was immediately furious. A daughter who is married is like water spilled out. No. With a straight face, Kyle reluctantly said these two words. Then, Zumuyu smiled, and Shirono also smiled. But don't be too happy too soon. I also know that you are taking a leave of absence from school. I will definitely not allow you two to wander around aimlessly. So, I have arranged two things for you, Kyle said, proudly pointing his finger. The first thing is that the Meteor Falls secret realm, which opens once every 10 years, is about to open. I want you and Shirono to enter it for some training. The second thing is that you have to collect 16 city-level gym badges and 6 elves within 2 months to participate in the King Challenge. You have to get the top 3 places in the challenge, so that you can become a King trainer, and then participate in the World King Tournament and get the qualification for a title. Good guy. After Kyle finished his conditions, Zumuyu laughed out of anger. Tell me, are you a hired helper by the dog system? Meteor Falls, World King Tournament. These are all tasks arranged by the dog system. How much money does he give you to work so hard for him? I will pay double. You stay away from the dog system, okay? What is this title? Zumuyu cursed in his heart, but he still had to ask for clarification and action. Just like the previous venerables, they all had their own titles, but there were also some Heavenly King level powerhouses who were local pavilion owners or mayors and did not have titles. The title is the top 16 of the World Heavenly King competition. Every year, 16 Heavenly King level powerhouses will be awarded titles and officially called venerables, and the Heavenly King level powerhouses in the local area are not qualified for the title because of insufficient strength or other reasons, so they can only be in the local area. It's not that the local area is not good, it's just that the nature is different. After Kyle finished explaining, he found that Zumuyu actually looked relaxed. That's right, Zumuyu is very relaxed now. So uncle means that I should become an officially recognized venerable within a year? Kyle nodded, that's what he meant. Zumuyu smiled. This is too easy. That dogfin venerable was the guy who was defeated by Zumuyu 2-6 at that time. If a dish can be called a venerable, then doesn't Zumuyu have the strength of a venerable now? Okay, I got it, uncle. Do you have anything else to do? Kyle got angry when he saw Zumuyu asking him with a smile on his face, as if he was sending someone away. This is my house, okay? You are on my territory, and you want to send me away? Is it appropriate? It's okay. You pay attention. Don't do anything to Sirona. I let Lucario keep an eye on you. If I find out, I will punish you. In the end, Kyle, as a father, was still worried about Zumuyu, the bastard, and threatened Zumuyu with a harsh word before turning around and leaving. Hearing Kyle's words, Zumuyu laughed again. Lucario, don't you know that the sky is mine now? Are you kidding? If he dares to tip you off, I will eat dog meat hot pot. Chapter 47. The legendary meteor falls. After Shirona's father left, Zumuyu looked at Shirona with a shy face, and couldn't help but feel a surge of anger. This is my fiancée. It seems that if I give her a kiss, it shouldn't be a big problem, right? Kyle's threat is of no use to Zumuyu, an LSP. However, in order to give face to the old guy Kyle, Zumuyu hesitated again, and still suppressed the little excitement in his heart. He returned to the room seriously and began to look for relevant information about Meteor Falls. As a high-quality agent of the dog system, Kyle hopes that Zumuyu will go to Meteor Falls first to see if there are any suitable Pokémons in it, then go to the gym and participate in the King Challenge. Finally, enter the World King Tournament, get a title, and become a formal venerable. As for what happens in the future, Zumuyu estimates that the system may arrange for other agents to come. Greninja's mission is to fight Lugia, so that he can get Kun's bloodline. In that case, there is Lugia in this Meteor Falls? What nonsense. It's understandable that there is Entei in the Evergreen Forest, but how can you have a Lugia in this Meteor Falls? Muttering to himself, Zumuyu also found the official information of Meteor Falls. Meteor Falls is a secret realm that opens once every 10 years. This is an agreement reached between the human strongman and the Dragonite clan in the secret realm. The human race enters once every 10 years, but each time the Dragonite clan must have at least 3 cubs choose a suitable trainer and leave with the human race. The Dragonite clan has a long lifespan and its strength increases relatively slowly, so their cubs following humans to go out for training is not a bad thing in the eyes of the Dragonite clan. Both sides can be regarded as mutually beneficial. If the Dragonite clan is not too slow in giving birth to offspring, the secret realm may be opened once every 3 years. In addition to the Dragonite clan, there are many elves in Meteor Falls. Small elves such as Sun Rock and Moon Rock are said to come from outer space. Slowpoke, 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 Meanchow, Absol, etc. After Zumu checked the information for a while, he had a general understanding of Meteor Falls. Although all trainers who enter it will go with the desire for Dratini, only a handful of people can really get the recognition of the Dragonite family and subdue Dratini. The greater temptation of Meteor Falls is those other rare Pokémon. Apart from anything else, Meanchow is definitely a well-known sign in this world. Because the evolution theory of Squirtle has not been discovered, there are very few Meanchow trainers. Almost all the known Meanchows have evolved in the wild, rather than being cultivated by trainers. Therefore, even if you can't get Dratini, Meteor Falls is still a treasure land that countless trainers flock to. Good guy. This opportunity that others want but can't get, I got it for free? Zumu curled his lips. To be honest, his identity as a second generation is really good. If he wants to become a trainer, this condition is just like that of an ancient prince. The nanny came to prepare the meal, and Shirona walked to the door of Zumu's room. Zumu, it's time to eat. Hey. Right away. Zumu turned off the computer and responded casually. When he came to the dining table, Zumu sat down naturally, and then looked at Shirona. Embarrassing. He was so busy watching the meteor waterfall that he forgot about the engagement. Shirona was left outside for a long time. Would she think that he was angry? She was angry because of her father's abuse. Well, Greninja, go get food for Arceus. You can't rely on me for everything every day. Charizard, what are you looking at? You go and help too. Zumu opened his mouth and sent the 2 Pokémon away. And then he set his eyes on Shirona. Shirona was also very sensible. Lucario, you also go prepare something for Sharknado. Lucario looked confused, seeing that this guy didn't know what to do. Greninja on the side went up and stabbed him. Come here quickly. Lucario looked at Zumu with grievance. He still followed Greninja obediently. There was nothing he could do. He couldn't beat him, so he did what he wanted. Those who were in the way left, and now only Zumu and Shirona were left. Well, I didn't know about the engagement at first. Zumu spoke first to break the silence. Shirona blushed. I didn't know either. Well, this kid is just stupid. It's confirmed. Zumu raised his head with an uncle's smile. So we are destined to be together, right? Yeah. Following Zumu's words, Shirona agreed. You don't hate me, do you? No. How could I hate you? Zumu was very satisfied and continued. Okay, then our relationship is settled like this, and you will be my fiancé from now on, okay? Thinking that the night is long and dreams are many, Zumu was ready to take advantage of Shirona's still being stupid and settle this relationship quickly. However, Shirona reacted instantly when she heard this. But father said he would only agree if you beat him? Zumu was stunned, a little confused. Is this girl really stupid or just pretending to be stupid? She usually looks silly. How can she react now? Well, let's beat him first. Let's eat. With a dry cough, Zumu was embarrassed to be caught trafficking the little sister in front of him. Shirona didn't feel embarrassed. She looked at Zumu with her unique blank eyes. After confirming that Zumu was okay, she started to eat. When are we going to Meteor Falls? After filling his stomach, Zumu took out a bucket of ice cream from the refrigerator and put it in front of Shirona. Zumu was a little puzzled that he didn't eat ice cream today. After opening the lid, Shirona remembered the matter of Meteor Falls and asked. Zumu thought about it and answered, tomorrow, just in time for the opening of the secret realm. Shirona agreed. She had heard about Meteor Falls a long time ago, but she was too young to go when it opened last time. Okay. After eating the delicious ice cream, and the fact that Zumu had already arranged the itinerary, he was not displeased by Kyle's arrival. This made Sirona in a good mood. Looking at the ice cream in front of her, Sirona had an intuition. I can finish 2 buckets. I'm going to train with Roundland Shark in a while. Will you join us? Sirona then remembered that since she met Zumu, she had hardly seen him train his Pokémon. Even Arceus only mentioned a few words casually, as if joking. Can you be so strong without training? That's impossible. My father said that the strong are made up of 1% talent and 99% sweat. No one can get something for nothing. However, training? Forget it. I'm not interested. You can accompany Roundland Shark, and take Arceus with you. I'll go back and take a nap first. Chapter 48 Zumu's Rivals. After handing Arceus over to Sirona, Zumu swaggered back to the room. Training? Are you kidding me? I don't want to be a trainer, so I will never train in my life. Sirona's big eyes were full of confusion. How could Zumu be so powerful? Did he give the Pokémon drugs? Turning her head to look at Greninja and Charizard who were cooking for Arceus, Sirona really didn't understand. The next day, Zumu and Sirona, a pair of super second generations, naturally boarded the helicopter to the secret realm. At an altitude of 1,000 meters, Zumu suddenly had an idea to take a lot of photos with Sirona. It looks so good. While admiring the photos of himself and Sirona, Zumu sent the photos to his mother. You've been doing well recently. This is your future daughter-in-law. How is it? Zu's mother had just gotten up at this time. When she received Zumu's message, she actually laughed out loud in surprise. It looks good. Mom agreed to this marriage. The mother and daughter made a joke, and Zumu didn't care too much. How could he, who was full of flowers, think of the good intentions of Zu's mother for his son? Zumu just felt that he hadn't contacted his mother for a long time, and it was just right to show her the beloved girl he found. As a result, Zu's mother, who had just woken up, was not calm. After replying to Zumu's message, Zu's mother made a phone call directly and sent the photos. Not long after, all the information of Sirona and the Kyle family will be sent to Zu's mother. Well, this is really good. It turned out that the child's father made the engagement. Then I feel relieved. Arriving at Meteor Falls, Zumu realized that he was not the most showy one, riding a helicopter with a blonde beauty. This behavior is no match for those real bee-kings. Mr. Zu, the one driving the tractor, is the young master of the Shi family. The Shi family is a large family specializing in rock and ground systems. Uncle Tatu did not send him to the place this time, but stayed to introduce the true identities of these bee-kings to Zumu. Uncle Tatu still remembered what happened in the Chimpanzee secret realm last time. Fortunately, it was Zumu's father who was there in person last time. Otherwise the consequences would be disastrous. This time was the same. Tatu was worried that something might happen, so he gave Zumu a general knowledge of these guys in advance, and prayed secretly, hoping that no one would offend Zumu. What about the one driving the flying saucer? Zumu didn't know that Tatu was thinking so much, but he just thought that these second generations were really interesting, so he continued to ask. After hearing what Zumu said, Sirona also looked up at the flying saucer in the sky. To be honest, this flying saucer is cool, better than a tractor. This is the young master of the Zhao family. Speaking of the Zhao family, it's a long story. Uncle Tatu looked like he was going to tell a story, and Zumu saw that the young master of the Zhao family with a hedgehog head was actually followed by a little fire dragon, and there was a faint mark on the face of the little fire dragon. Zumu knew instantly that this guy was the son of Mr. Zhao. It was the guy who bought the elf egg from him. I know, the son of the big boss Mr. Zhao. Uncle Tatu heard this and hurriedly said, Young master, don't underestimate Mr. Zhao. On the surface, he is a harmless businessman, but in fact, he is a big tycoon who controls half of the economic lifeline of the East. For such a person, the degree of danger is not assessed by strength. Besides, it is said that no one knows Mr. Zhao's true strength now. Seeing him so serious, Zumu unnaturally remembered what Mr. Zhao said at the beginning. I will meet again. This big man was very caring to me at that time, but now it seems that it is not a good thing. Forget it. Whether it is a big shot or not, It has nothing to do with me. Zoomu put Mr. Zhao's matter aside first, and then continued to watch. Seeing that someone actually came riding a Kentaro, he also became interested. Without him asking, Uncle Tatu naturally said, "This is Yeluchi from the Grassland Forces, and he is also one of the more prestigious ones in this generation." Zoomu didn't quite understand. What is the Grassland Force? Is it the same as the one in the previous life, nomadic people, the kind with no fixed place to live, or the kind that lives in yurts? The Grassland Forces are a force between the East and Western Europe. They are not independent of the alliance. In name, they still belong to the East, but they are not willing to be restrained. Uncle Tatu explained very diligently. There is no way. He can't not be diligent. Now the saint is with Zoomu. If Zoomu is as reckless as before and offends a group of people again, Kyle will definitely come and kill him. This time it's interesting. After Uncle Tatu introduced almost everything, Zoomu grinned. Before, he won a championship in the novice village, and then he won a championship in the advanced novice village. Now, he still didn't escape from the novice village, and a group of top novices came to meet him. If I give them another brush, should I leave the village? Zoomu's muttering made Chirona confused. What is brushing and what is leaving the village? Young master, if you want to compete with them for the mini-dragon, please try not to be ruthless. Seeing that Zoomu's smile was a little sinister, Uncle Tatu felt that Zoomu might not have understood his hint. He quickly opened his mouth to make it clear. We are here to collect dragons, not to fight or bully people. Seeing Tatu's serious face, Zoomu nodded helplessly. Uncle Tatu, do you think I am a ruthless person? This rhetorical question made Uncle Tatu speechless in an instant. No matter you are or not, your father is anyway. If you really make him angry, even the chief will feel uncomfortable. It was still Chirona who knew how to save the situation. She said, Zoomu is not that kind of brainless reckless man. He is smart. Seeing Chirona praising Zoomu with an innocent face, Uncle Tatu did not dare to refute. Yes, the saint is right. Following the rhythm of Chirona, Uncle Tatu hurriedly said, Saint, Master Zoo, the secret realm is open. Let's go. And first, mini-dragons are limited. First come first served. Although Zoomu is not very interested in mini-dragons, Chirona has them. Holding Zoomu's hand, Chirona signaled Zoomu to summon Charizard quickly and enter the secret realm as soon as possible. Somewhat speechless, Zoomu calmly watched those Bee-King boys swarm into the transmission channel at the moment the secret realm began. He was not in a hurry at first, and was ready to wait until everyone entered before slowly entering. As a result, seeing Chirona so excited, Zoomu no longer spoiled the fun. He directly called out Charizard, accelerated, and headed straight for Meteor Falls. Yo, I'm going to subdue Mini-Dragon. This uncle is absolutely the best. At the moment Charizard entered the transmission portal, a hoarse voice came from Zoomu. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49 Let Them Rob. This uncle? Zoomu looked around with disdain and found that not far away from him, a young man riding a Kentaro was yelling excitedly. Seeing his inexperienced look, Zoomu laughed. Who gave you the courage to be so arrogant? You are so young. Who do you want to be your uncle? You really left the mountain area, and you think you are the only local tyrant? The world outside is big. Kid, listen to your uncle. You can't control it. Don't be arrogant. Zoomu, the environment here is so good. Just when she wanted to let this second generation understand what a real second generation is, Chirona suddenly exclaimed. Zoomu was too lazy to pay attention to the idiot and began to observe the surrounding environment. The two are now in a slightly dark cave. Although there is no external light entering this cave, many of the fluorescent fine powders in it still achieve basic lighting effects. It's just that the color of the light is different from normal, and it looks a bit strange and beautiful. It can't be said to be strange. To be more precise, it's like the starlight of a firefly, abnormally crystal clear. It's really good. Zoomu followed Chirona's words. Soon, the transmission channel was filled with young, super, rich first, Second generation trainers who came for this adventure. Yo! With a soft hum, a huge Dragonite appeared in the air. Hello, human trainers. Feeling the kindness released by Dragonite, no one was afraid or daunted, and quietly waited for Dragonite's next words. And those trainers who had no idea about Dratini did not leave immediately, wanting to see what Dragonite would say. After all, this opportunity only comes once every 10 years. If you miss it for so long, you may never see a rare Pokémon like Dragonite in your life. Yo. The task of this trial is very simple, that is, you need to find 3 such bells in Meteor Falls. The bells can be snatched, and there are no specific rules for this trial. As long as you find me with the bells one day later, you will be qualified to go to my tribe to subdue my tribe's descendants. Dragonite's cry was long, and he announced the rules of the trial and flew away directly. Some trainers who had prepared in advance had brought translation tools or telepathic Pokémon. They were afraid that they would get the rules wrong. Zumu was the same. With Arceus there, he quickly understood the rules. Then he took Sirona's hand and said indifferently, "Let's go." Sirona was a little confused. She saw Dragonite appear and then called a few times. As a result, many people ran out like a 100-meter sprint. What's going on? Dragonite has already said the rules. Didn't you hear it? Seeing Sirona confused, Zumu couldn't help laughing. What rules? Sirona was puzzled. There were many people present who were like Sirona, with confused faces. Dragonite has announced the rules. Otherwise, what do you think he did by calling out a few times just now? Is he here to be cute? Sirona was embarrassed by what Zumu said. She touched her hair, stuck out her tongue and smiled. I was thinking that Dragonite's voice is very nice. Zumu slapped his forehead. Okay. As for being stupid, I won't even lean on the wall or an 80-year-old grandmother, but you are the one I admire. Holding Shirona's hand and going deep into the cave, Zumu did not follow the direction of the sound of water like the others. We seem to have lost contact with everyone, Shirona said casually when she saw that there were fewer and fewer trainers nearby. Zumu nodded. Yes. It would be boring if we were to gather with them all. Then, Zumu pointed to the front. You see, the truly smart people know to separate. This is not like playing football, and the more people there are, the better. This secret realm is not big, but it is really not small. After the trainer team of nearly 1,000 people separated in this meteor waterfall, they gradually separated like walking in a maze. If you don't make marks in advance, you will definitely get lost. Walking in the direction where there is almost no sound of water does not mean that we are getting farther and farther away from the waterfall, but it means that we are heading deeper into the cave. The Dragonite clan is not an elf that lives in the water. They are all walking in the direction of the waterfall, which is actually the opposite of the goal. Zumu's idea is very simple, that is, to avoid those idiots first. Then if he finds a bell, he will give one to Sirona. If he doesn't find it, forget it. Anyway, he didn't think that he could come quietly this time. As long as the dog system is not dead, it will definitely arrange all kinds of accidents. Apart from anything else, there is also the big guy Lugia. The system has arranged the sign-in tasks in advance, and Lugia will definitely not let him come and go as he pleases. Then won't we be able to find the bell faster this way? Sirona saw Zumu's analysis and thought that the chances of completing this trial were very high. However, Zumu's words just now were just nonsense, commonly known as bullshit. He just wanted to leave the crowd quickly and find a quiet place to wait for Lugia to come and cause trouble. As for the bell, what are you looking for? Only fools would go looking for it. We won't look for the bell. Let fools look for it, Zumu said with a smile. Sirona didn't understand. We won't look for it? Yes, only fools would look for the bell, Zumu said as a matter of course. Think about it. Will the bell ring? Since someone will look for it, after he finds the bell, unless he stays where he is, he will definitely make it ring. Wouldn't it be better if we snatch it from him then? That's right. Since hearing this rule, Zumu's mind has become more complicated. Since Dragonite allows the robbing of bells, what's the point of looking for them so hard? Just snatch it and it's over? Don't say it's immoral. If Zumu doesn't snatch it, others will. Opportunity is something that only those who are capable can get it. But, It's not good for us to snatch other people's things. Sirona hesitated, but soon figured it out. She is called a saint, but she is not a saintly bitch. This kind of thing has been commonplace in her education since she was a child. The competent get the job, which is Darwin's theory of biological evolution and the eternal truth on the road to becoming stronger. Okay, let them find it. I'll take you to find an interesting guy now. Seeing that Sirona finally understood, Zumu smiled and took her hand and walked deeper into the cave. Not worrying that Lugia couldn't find him, he has eaten the dog system to death now. Since the sign-in task has been issued, the dog system will make him complete it no matter what. I didn't, I can't, it's all your own fault. The system has fainted in the toilet. When it comes to such a host, he has been blamed to the point of autism. Chapter 50, Country Boy Yelluchi. Hahaha, I said that if we go deeper, we will definitely gain something. Dragon, use 100,000 volts. Not long after walking, Zumu and Shyarona heard the sound of fighting coming from the front. Because they were in the cave, the sound would spread far away. Zumu and Shyarona looked at each other. At the same time, they decided to go and see the excitement. In the cave of Meteor Falls, there are many kinds of elves. In addition to the common Sand/Zubat and Geodude, there are many relatively rare elves. For example, Cocodoro, Bronze Mirror, Casey, etc. Just now on the road, Zumu also encountered a few elves, but Zumu didn't think about conquering them. Shyarona simply didn't like them, so she just let the elves pass by them. Following the direction of the sound, Zumu took Shyarona through the winding tunnel and saw an open space. On the open space, the person fighting was the boy from the grassland before, Yelluchi. He was commanding Dragonite to attack the wounded Melodic frantically, and it seemed that he was preparing to conquer the other party. Although the attributes were unfavorable and the water system was restrained by the electric system, Melodic still fought desperately. It was obvious that it did not want to leave here, nor did it want to be conquered by this country boy. Woo ye! Melodic let out a long cry, and a mouthful of dragon wave sprayed out, directly hitting the body of the electric dragon. You still dare to resist? Electric dragon, another 100,000 volts. The country boy Yelluchi saw Melodic resisting and immediately ordered the electric dragon to continue attacking. The electric dragon that had just been hit by the dragon wave was also angry. Because you look good, I have never used my full strength, but you still sneak attacked me. Another 100,000 volts. Melodic was electrocuted and was in agony. It curled up on the ground and screamed repeatedly. Hearing Melodic's miserable wail, Shyarona felt a little reluctant and frowned slightly. They are all the strength of the pseudo-kings. I should be able to deal with them. After calculating the difference in strength, Shyarona was about to take action. Zumu stopped her. Mean Xiao was discovered by others first. It's against the rules for us to take action now. Zumu's words made Shyarona a little confused. It was you who wanted to rob something just now because of a disagreement. Now I want to rob it, and you still stop me? Did Zumu become a monk? Is he doing good deeds? Zumu smiled mysteriously and pointed at Mean Xiao. She looks like she is screaming, but she is actually calling for her companions. You can understand that this guy is looking for reinforcements. So that's it. Shyarona was relieved. Zumu is still the same Zumu. He hasn't changed. How could there be a wild Mean Xiao with the strength of a quasi-king here? Knowing that Mean Xiao was not a big problem for the time being, Shyarona shifted her attention to why she was here. Zumu thought about it and decided to tell the truth. I don't know. I know. It must be like this. Zumu just wanted to be honest and not fool Shyarona first, but this girl actually said that she knew. Like you said, Dragonite doesn't live in the water, and Melodic doesn't have to live in the water either. This place is spacious, and most of the nearby Pokémon are rock type, which poses no threat to Melodic. It's perfect to settle down here. So, Zumu is right, and going deeper into the cave is indeed rewarding. Sirona's imaginary words left Zumu speechless. Opening his mouth, Zumu decided to give up the explanation. Okay, well said, that's what I thought. Now you can finally think about the problem independently, which is great, Zumu said, and shamelessly stroked Sirona's head with his hand. He still has the nerve to despise others for pretending to be cool, He is the biggest bee king. Yo, seeing that Melodic was about to collapse, Yelloochy was ready to throw the Pokeball, but a dragon roar made him give up the idea temporarily. A Dragonite was coming quickly through the narrow tunnel. Some of the rock walls that were in the way were smashed by Dragonite at great speed. Yo, who dares to bully my goddess? I will fucking kill you. Dragonite, who arrived at the scene, immediately found the seriously injured Melodic. Then, Dragonite has a reverse scale. Touching it will kill. Dragonite directly activated the reverse scale and beat Yellowkai's Dragonite violently. Dragonite, Mega Evolution. Although the country boy is very country, he is at least the second generation of the grassland. A simple Mega Evolution can still be done. Due to the emergency, Dragonite did not have time to make special effects. It directly completed the transformation and wrestled with Dragonite again. Melodic took the opportunity to use self-recovery to restore its strength. I just want to subdue Melodic. How did you pretend to be a king-level Dragonite for me? Who can withstand this? Dragonite, let's retreat. A hero never suffers a loss in front of him. We will fight again after Dragonite leaves. Yellowkai understood it well. Seeing Dragonite coming, there was no chance, so he simply prepared to retreat. He happened to glance at Zumu and Sirona, who had been watching the excitement for a long time, and Yellowkai's eyes turned. Brothers over there, and Ms. Sirona, should we cooperate? Sirona looked indifferent, but Zumu would never agree. It's like you play King of Glory with a girl, and halfway through the game, a passerby wants to join the team. Is that okay? The girl is mine alone. No, if you can't do it, come down quickly. We've been waiting for a long time. Zumu blocked Yellowkai's retreat as soon as he opened his mouth. Come down quickly if you can't do it. Don't talk about that useless thing. We've been waiting here for a long time. Yellowkai's already dark face suddenly became darker. Electric Dragon, let's go. Taking advantage of the chaos of Dragonite's reverse scale, Yellowkai took back the Electric Dragon without saying a word, and released it again to his side. Signaled Zumu with his eyes. Aren't you going to go up? Go, little guy. You really think you are the #1 in the country with a girl? That's a king-level Dragonite. I want to see how you take over. Everyone can brag. If you can do it, go ahead. Otherwise, run away with me. Ha ha ha. Yellowkai said, posing as if he was ready to run at any time, and then stared at Zumu. As long as Zumu and Sirona were ready to run away, he would definitely run faster than them. Yellowkai thought he had dug a big trap for Zumu and made him lose face in front of Sirona. As a result, Zumu and Sirona were looking at him as if he was a fool. A king-level Dragonite still needs to run? Are you kidding me? Zumu curled his lips and glanced disdainfully at Yellowkai, who was half crouching on the ground, ready to run away at any time. Yellowkai let Zumu talk, unmoved at all. He thought to himself, you just want to trick me into letting my guard down, and then you find a chance to run away first. Who hasn't heard the story of a tiger chasing a person? Now it's a competition of speed. Whoever runs slower will be unlucky. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.